Save your breath for screaming.
Well, I say every day it's a getting closer to taking a bath with my fucking toaster.
We're not qualified.
Who are you?
Explorers in the further regions of experience.
Did you not listen? Then the hell with you.
Greetings, salutations, and welcome into the 191st episode of Screaming Into the Void, the show where we talk about whatever the hell we feel like. You might have noticed the ticker is already up at the bottom of the screen. Yes, it's going to be that kind of episode. Welcome in, everybody. My name is Samuel the Infamous, and joining me today, so far, the only one who bothered to show up, Caucasian Sasquatch.
That's me. I did that.
Indeed, indeed. So we are currently live on Twix, YouTube, and Rumble, two separate YouTube channels, Caucasian Sasquatch and Samuel the Infamous. If you're in any of those places, drop a comment, let us know you're here, and we'll, try to acknowledge your existence, I guess. I don't know. We'll be good YouTubers, I promise. Welcome in, everybody. Say hello to the chat real quick. First up, as all is right with the world, Scotty Waddles, welcome in. So I keep saying this, but it's weird when you're not first. We got Old Blighty, howdy, good to see you. We've got Pero in the chat, welcome in. John Denicola, howdy. I see JB in the chat, howdy, good to see you. As you guys come in, I will attempt to at least remember to bring up one. There's only a couple of us on the panel. It should be pretty easy to interact today, but we're going to go into some shit. In fact, just backstage, Sasquatch and I were having a riveting discussion about Ebola and hantavirus and, some other horrible, nasty shit.
It is kind of strange they both pop up the same kind of general time period. I mean, it's not that unusual, but
Right.
in equatorial Africa, there's not exactly seasons, so weird.
Yeah, weird. I don't know, but I mean, when people started throwing around hantavirus like it was something to panic about, I was a little shocked myself because I'm like, we get hantavirus outbreaks out here like every 3 years. It runs right through the rabbit population.
Also, you get a person with it about once every 2 years or so, and typically it's in association with drought-type conditions.
Mm-hmm.
Because the rat droppings don't aerosolize properly unless it's really, really, really super dry. Now, you can create those conditions in a closet or,
Sure.
attic or something like that, but that's generally a high desert Southwest type of issue.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, I live in the high plains. We get it out here too, and it is a fairly dry location, so it does happen. And it's like, yeah, obviously it's dangerous. You don't want to get this shit or whatever, but it's not untreatable. It's not like you just got bit by a boom slang and you got 8 minutes before you
do about it. Really?
No, not terribly much, but as far as like actual human deaths go from it.
Yeah. Well, no, most people survive. The problem is dehydration. Like, when this shit gets a hold to you and you start leaking, first of all, you feel like you have the flu at first, and then you sneeze and there's blood in it. And it's like, holy shit. And then it gets bad, right? Like the worst flu you ever had times a billion.
John, we will be getting to that, actually. That is one of the main topics today. But yeah, it's always one thing after another, right? This is like, oh my God, we've got this new virus, except it's not a new virus, it's an old virus, but it might be a new, deadlier version of an older virus. Every 6 months now. I'm waiting for monkeypox 3.0.
Right. I'm waiting for the next one. So All right, I can't remember the name of the book, but it's the same guy that did Guns, Germs, and Steel also collaborated on another book called, I think, The Coming Plague, or The New Plague, or The Next Plague, or something like that. Anyway, he went into an in-depth, him and the other guy went into this really in-depth discussion on the necessary things that a pandemic would need in order for it to have any measurable effect on society. And quite frankly, between me, you, and the hole in the ground, COVID really didn't cover it. There was a lot of reactionary things that happened that exacerbated the deadliness of COVID from the outset. The breathing machines. If you don't need to be on a breathing machine, it is a really bad thing to do to someone.
Like right? A CPAP?
Yeah. Well, no. This is more. They actually force oxygen into your lungs.
Oh yeah,
it's dry, and they got the little thing that, that those things. You remember they were completely out. They didn't have any. There were so few of them that this was everybody was fucked, and we're fast tracking the construction of these machines, and it's going to save tons and tons and tons of lives. And then you didn't hear anything else about it. It just went out because a lot of the symptoms associated with this particular disease were exacerbated by the machines that were being used to attempt to treat the lack of oxygen in the blood. And so these things can cause lung damage, especially if they're not properly calibrated or properly put together, or being operated inappropriately, or, there's all kinds of things that can go wrong with those. Whereas as long as you can keep a person breathing, they'll probably get over it.
Indeed. Arctic Timberwolf, yes, that is correct. My name is Samuel. It's, but there's always something. There's always some new scare coming up. There's always some, we all got to do all these life-changing things to prevent, mass casualties from new virus of the week kind of shit. This seems to be a recurring theme, especially in the last 5 years. I mean, it's been around. This kind of panic has been around for a while. I mean, you go back, and sometimes there are mass casualties. I mean, the Spanish flu did kill a lot of people.
Yeah. And I mean, to tell the truth, while we know what it is, we can go point at it in a collection of freaking diseases that we've got. We still don't really understand exactly how that took place, because we don't know where it originally came from. It is thought by the general populace to be, and I quote, the 1919 swine flu epidemic, right?
Yeah.
All of the symptoms and the way it went and the people that it attacked and how it was transmitted doesn't really look like a swine flu, classically speaking. Those things kind of trudge out more like Montezuma's Revenge with the sniffles than a cold and death.
Oh, sure.
But in the case of the 1919 epidemic, it looks an awful lot like one of the H1N6, H2N5 varieties, the types of bird flu, with how rapidly it just people. All right, so there's this one account from a survivor. He was coming back from, I believe it was the African campaign in World War I, or after World War I, and they had to stop by in Italy, and then they stopped in Spain, and then they did the shot straight over to like New Orleans or something like that. And between the time they left Madrid or whatever port it was they left, every single person, he was the first person sick on the ship. He had left the ship. He went to some little coffee shop, tried to make a phone call or three, wouldn't go through, and then he came and got back on the boat, and that was his experience out. A whole bunch of people left the ship, came back, and they took on a whole bunch of people, and they let off a whole bunch of people, so nobody knows anything about how it got on, but it got on. Between the time they left Madrid and arrived in New Orleans, every single person on the ship had it, and the first round of survivors were just now starting to like get up and start helping the people who were sick because they had just survived it themselves. And these people, at least in this case, went on when they got to New Orleans. They, most of them just fucked off to wherever they were from, but a handful of people, there were so many dead people on the ship that the port was like, hold up. What in the world is going on? And then the next ship came in, it was the same way, and the next one, and the next one. And so the Port Authority at first was like, nobody's leaving. And then they realized that they were missing 20% of the people that were supposed to be on the ships, and the captains were telling them that we threw them overboard. And they're like, what the fuck do you mean you threw 20% of your passengers overboard? Well, they died. And at the time that they're having this conversation, the captain was very likely so sick that he would go on to die in the next few hours. And most of the other people on the ship were in the same quote unquote boat. But this one dude, he survives. He leaves. He's stopped at the port. They won't let him leave. He gets given housing. Everybody in the block gets sick, and he starts trying to help people. He ends up getting hooked up with a nurse who's like military. She gets transferred to a military base and brings him with her because he's technically discharged, but he's still not allowed to go home because he's had this disease and they don't want to spread it. So he decided not to go home. And so he stayed with her. She gets sick and ends up being one of his patients. And he was doing something. He'd been doing this since the outbreak started on the ship. He was overhydrating people when they started getting sick. As soon as he realized they realized they were sick, he would start forcing them to consume as much fluids as possible. Keep in mind, this predates convenient saline solutions, things like Sterol.
Yeah.
He might have been credited with saving 500,000 people in 3 years.
I think I don't know if you and I spoke about him previously, but I think I do remember reading something about him.
Yeah, he was kind of hated and celebrated because of two things. One, he walks through the rest of this epidemic as like Nostradamus during the plague. He just goes wherever the hell he wants, does whatever the hell he wants, and he never gets sick again. Meanwhile, the nurse that helped, he was first assigned to or whatever, she got sick, gets over it, goes to treat, help take care of some sick people in New Orleans and like the lower quarter over there, and she catches it again and it kills her, right? That happened while he was off in another part of Louisiana trying to take care of some people that lived. And then when he left, those people got sick again and died. And so there was sort of this idea that he was still carrying something.
Yeah, like typhoid.
But it was never proven. It was just a lot of people died, man. A lot of people. Those people happened to be some of them. We don't know that the sickness he was treating to start with was the specific pandemic sickness. It could literally have been scarlet fever, dengue fever, yellow fever, the common cold. It could have been anything. And they just all present the same way. And so his quote unquote breakthrough thing was, it had like a fucking 46% death rate untreated. His method of treating, which was basically just to overhydrate them from start to finish, and also pump them full of vitamins and shit like that, so that when they don't, their electrolytes don't go all flippy. And that was pretty much it. He just gave them water.
I would be curious, because you keep saying overhydrated. I would be curious how many of his patients got sick or suffered from overhydration. What do they call it? Water toxicity, when your cells get so bloated with water that they start bursting.
Well, here's the thing, and I get what you're saying. Yes, there is a limit to how much overhydrated you can become before it becomes a very negative thing. Basically, what he was doing was keeping them, and instead of laying them down in a bed and keeping them static and not letting them move around, he kept them up and moving around and had them come in and drink an 8-ounce glass of water every hour on the hour until you just can't do it anymore. And that was basically it. But the other thing is, no, you're not allowed to go lay down. You're not convalescing in your bed. You can go do anything you fucking want, but you can't go lay down in your bed. I know you feel bad, but you're going to sit here and play cards with us or something. And that was a huge difference in his treatment, was the overuse, in my opinion, overhydration. And but as far as water toxicity, the goddamn thing happened so quick, bro. Like, you would wake up and your husband would go to the market and come home, and that afternoon he'd catch a sniffle. Did he catch it at the market? Did he catch it a couple of days, a week before? We don't know. We don't know what the gestation period really was. So, like, he comes back from the market, catches a bug. He's sick by 6 p.m. He's feverish by midnight. He might be dead by dawn, right? And by dawn, you've got the sniffles, and so do all of your kids. And so by noon the next day, everybody's bedridden in the house, and there's nobody left to bury the bodies by dinner. Like, it was wildly quick. And so the overhydration thing may or may not have had any effect at all. I don't know. But definitely keeping them up and active seemed to be beneficial in some way, because those people survived at a much greater rate than others.
I think that's probably pretty par for the course, though, too. Is like, the body in motion is like they kept saying all through the most recent thing here, exercise and sunshine, man. Vitamin D and exercise. That's and a lot of the people who adhered to an exercise regimen and got outside in the sun and all that shit and got their vitamins, got their juices flowing and shit, did okay even when they got sick. There is something to that.
Certainly,
because you gotta think, man.
As hell.
Like,
almost fucking killed me.
Right. Well, think about how long has virology been really a thing? Right, a couple hundred years, maybe.
There were some around the time they discovered the protozoas and the bacteriums, and they realized that they could magnify things farther, and the Germans and the Italians, I think.
That was a guy named
fine lenses.
There was a Dutch guy named Van Leeuwenhoek.
That's it, Leeuwenhoek. Yeah, the Dutch guy. Yeah. So when he realized that, he did a conversation. He was pen pals with some other scientists and whatnot, and they all mentioned the same things back and forth to each other, and so everybody started doing lens crafting of various descriptions. Mm-hmm. And I can't remember the dude's name, but he had built a magnifying glass of exquisite quality and claimed to have seen little circus tent shaped particles that were not blood, were not phages, and were no other known form of life. But he could not separate them from it because it was so small and he didn't really have tools to fuck with them. The only thing he could really do was move them around, and they seemed static. And if I remember right, he referred to them as diatomaceous matter because he didn't know what it was, and all of his tests said that it was a hard silica-like surface. Right. So he couldn't tell you what it was he had seen, but he did know that it was something, and he found it in association only with certain people, which was another thing. And later he identified a half dozen other shapes that were associated with the same size. But yeah, this had nothing to do with diatoms, really. It was just those were the only things he had ever seen that looked anything like this and were structurally that hard. I mean, you're talking about diamond here. This is something approaching the Planck constant,
Right. Like, I mean, my first experience with anything diatomaceous was diatomaceous earth. I learned about that during a rather nasty bed bug infestation in Colorado. Because shit works. It works. It's
yep.
So, but Yeah, that it was an interesting experience because I think up to that point never heard of diatoms. Um, I mean, it makes sense. It's just basically a compound.
How much formal biology have I had? None. I mean, nothing further than high school. But my high school biology teacher was an absolute fucking genius. She was way above and beyond your average biology.
Well, and I have to
high school.
I have to point out here too, like my formal education ended at high school. My informal education continues as I live and breathe and continue to read and look into stuff. But that doesn't mean I'm an expert in any of this shit, and I'm not. And that's one of the reasons that I put that disclaimer in the description of every live stream is we're not experts on anything. We're just people talking.
Right. If I had to say I'm an expert on anything, it would be like the American chestnut and
right.
Pattern recognition.
But the reason that I brought up the history of virology is because I think Van Leeuwenhoek was doing his thing in the 1700s. I believe. I might be mistaken about that. Somebody in the chat brought up Leonardo da Vinci. I think it was Arctic Wolf, actually. Arctic Timber Wolf.
All right,
so what Leonardo da Vinci was in the 1500s.
Right, but what he did is he basically proofed through art. Now, this doesn't make any sense at all, right? But what he did was he helped people visualize the idea of what light does, and it allowed people later to be able to mathematically calculate the necessary convex structure of a lens, even though Leonardo wasn't nowhere near that point of actual production. He was mathematically there. He had figured out that if you had a lens at this diameter with this convection and this density, ... and he draw.
Da Vinci was a special guy. He was one of those guys who had so many ideas per minute that he couldn't actually keep up with all of them, and he rarely followed all the way down the rabbit hole with any of them. But he did lay the groundwork for a lot of other people down the road.
He's one of my arguments for time travel.
Maybe.
There's a lot to argue against that, but
like it doesn't work. But
well, no. That's not so much it. The reason I say there's a lot to argue against him being a time traveler is that his designs for tanks and rockets and stuff like that are complete bunk. But conceptually, they are on the right path, right? And so somebody from 2026 who hops in a time machine and dips his happy ass out to the 15th century and starts drawing shit is not going to draw the shit that Leonardo da Vinci drew, right?
Right.
He's gonna end up.
That's certainly one way of looking at it. I always looked at it like how sometimes you run into a savant or somebody who seems to be disconnected with the plane of reality we live in, but connected to something else. And I think he might have been one of them.
So I hear that, but I don't see anything he did that was outside of the realm of a genius. If you've ever actually encountered a genius, these people you have more in common with a cat than you do with a genius.
That's kind of what I'm saying.
Just completely different.
Right. Like their brain is tuned to a completely different frequency than your average person. And that's sort of what I'm getting at with this is that Da Vinci was one of those people who was just not on the same level as we are, which is why he was able to come up with ideas and stuff that were literally centuries ahead of his time. And
it's all conceptual too, is the weird part. That's the part that a lot of people don't understand is the concept of something. It might be easy to understand, but to put it on a drafting board and put it on paper gives it a certain realism that conceptualism doesn't have. And so when you look at the old Herodotus steam engine, what was that guy? Hero? Anyway, Da Vinci was very interested in that thing. He did thousands of sketches of variations of a theme on how that steam engine spun, attempting to work out conceptually how to take the rapid motion from it, Because the problem wasn't taking motion from something spinning. We've been doing that with water wheels forever. The problem was it spins so fucking fast, anything you try to put it on would break. And there was really no way of controlling how fast it spun. So that's what he was conceptually trying to work out. Most of it involved introduction of steam into water into a hot vessel and mitigating the water, but he didn't realize the levels of pressure that water could create. And so most of his designs are basically just fucking bombs. Yeah. Really high-speed spinning bombs.
I mean,
they will spin.
To be fair, most of our destructive inventions were accidents, but to a degree. Anyway, getting back to my point, the reason I bring up like the history of virology and like how that's only really been a thing in recent human history, you know, say the last 300 to 500 years or whatever. I don't even think the term was even coined until like the fucking mid 1800s or whatever, when they started getting into like forensic science. But the reason that I say that is because when they talk about, you know, sunlight and exercise being good for you and helping you stay healthy and shit like that, I mean, you can look back at pretty much all of human history, you know, and it's true with the possibly the sole exception of the Dark Ages, where people lived in shit the whole time. The thing is you also have to keep clean and hygienic, right? But if you do that, you get exercise, you get sun, your body will handle most foreign things. Most. And I caveat that again with, I'm not a doctor, I am not a medical expert, etc. at all. YouTube, fuck you. But I think that's true, because like there have been exceptions, like with the Black Plague in the Dark Ages, right? Part of the problem with that was that everybody was living amongst rats, and everybody wasn't bathing either. They weren't cleaning the rat shit off, so it was just kind of compounding, you know, and the human shit and all of that. And it was just a very filthy time to be alive. I mean, we don't call it the Dark Ages because there was no sunlight. You know, we call it that because everybody was retarded.
Well, so the period of Charlemagne's reign is really both interesting and extremely uninformative. You ever notice that?
Honestly, I haven't looked too much into Charlemagne on account of the French thing.
It's an odd thing, dude. It's a really weird. So the premise: Charlemagne was essentially a warlord who decided that he was the new emperor of Rome. Right. Because Rome was the most powerful thing they had ever encountered up to this point. And they had no idea why Rome left. They just
he was the one.
Man.
He was the one who moved the papal seat from Rome to Paris, correct?
Right. And also basically started the concept of the Holy Roman Empire.
Right.
He did that idea existed before, but he sort of solidified it around a central figure. Right. Mm-hmm. And that central figure, and this is where things get weird. There are tons of references to Charlemagne's reigns, everything that happened, all the stuff that went down in Paris, Versailles, and all that. But you take one step away from where the seat of power was, and suddenly there's almost zero reference to any of that shit. Like none of the monks in fucking Germany and Austria, none of the monks in fucking any of the Orthodox kingdoms to the east, none of the people in the west,
very
none
strange.
of them ever mentioned it.
It is very strange, especially for an empire. Like, why would you not be writing about, writing anything at all down about the head of your empire?
Well,
like even the 12th Legion in Britain knew who the fucking emperor was at the time, even if they'd never been to Rome.
That's true. And yet somebody in Calais might not know who the emperor was because it had no bearing on their day-to-day life whatsoever. Mm-hmm. And they couldn't read. So there's that. But
people
one
talk.
of the weird things about it, people talk. But one of the weird things about it is he's such a central figure to medieval history, specifically the Dark Ages, that it's almost as if he's a placeholder for something else, right? As if Charlemagne was a code name for a group of people doing some shit or something like that. because all of the things exist to say that he sat on the throne for that period of time, but at the same time, where's the stories? Where's the bard's tales? Where's the tavern tales? Where's the proof? Now, I heard someone explain it to me this way one time. Charlemagne took over as emperor not by conquering his neighbors, but by out-trading them to such an extent that they had to join him as vassals. He basically bought them. Is the story. There were fights, and there were There it was more of like arbitrary autocracy.
Yeah, that was a joke.
Yeah, I'm just saying. You're not wrong, but at the same time, it's anyway. Basically, what he would do is his army would show up, and they would buy everything and set up their own shops. And then the people who wanted to stay in business would pay to stay in business, and that shop would move to the next town over or whatever. It was kind of like the mafia movement. It was really strange, totally different method from almost every leader previous. And the byproduct of that is there's not a whole lot of direct witness record of what he did. But then we have a whole bunch of court documents saying that these things happened, and yet there's no reference to any of it outside of, Paris and Versailles.
That sounds almost manufactured.
Almost, right. No, and that's one of the theories. But this one dude explained it to me like this. He said, imagine that every story you've ever heard about a leader is how warlike they are and how many people they kill. And then you have this dude who shows up and says, hey, nobody's going to get killed, but you're going to pay us taxes. And you're like, okay, you can't stop them, right? They're just going to take some of your chickens, and that's how that works. And so, but the difference is, usually when this happens, they come in and kill a handful of people, make examples of folks, take all your chickens but a few, and you have to mob breed them back up, and everybody starves that winter, right? That didn't happen. Charlemagne's guys come through and was like, okay, you've got 73, you've got 2 years to come up with this much. So mob breed them up, let us know when you got them, we'll come get them. And then they moved on.
Indeed.
And so instead of there being stories of atrocities and murders and stuff like that, nothing really happened. And so there's no reference to things occurring that didn't happen. There are no fires, no massacres, no violent upheavals in association with Charlemagne's reign, because he didn't step on the people the way most rulers do. But he also rings so clearly to like a King Arthur figure as to seem fake. What's up, Mike? Welcome in, bud.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I hadn't really looked into Charlemagne too much. You hear his name come up, right? And they talk about him as one of the great emperors of history. But like, yeah, honestly, you're right, because I've heard his name. I've heard Charlemagne the Great. I've heard this and that, and he was around during certain specific formative events in Europe. But as to his actual involvement in any of it, no, I think you're right. I don't think I've ever heard much of anything.
There's a couple of stories about him moving house from one location to another, and it almost started a war because he had there was some. The story goes like this: they were supposed to be meeting with some folks from like Germany and Austria and some other places like that, and something happened at the palace, and he decided to move to Versailles for the summer or whatever. But nobody told the guys who were coming because they didn't know exactly when they'd show up. They showed up, and Charlemagne wasn't there, and they decided that the place had been overthrown, and they go on the fucking lam and take off because they figure whoever the new emperor is probably going to be pissed that he was meeting with them. And so they literally kill the people that were guiding them there and then try to sneak back to Austria or whatever. And in the process of that, they ended up basically leaving a blood trail all the way back, and he dispatched a handful of folks to go get them and brought them back, I think, to Versailles, and basically sat them down and explained how you don't go, I don't care what kind of a king you are no king if you kill subjects. That is flat. You can't do that. don't do that. And he stripped them of everything they had, shipped all his stuff back, and then made them walk back, if the story is to be believed. And these were princes and kings of Austria, Hungary, Germany. That's where the kingdoms were. That wasn't what they were called.
Yeah. No, that's, I don't know. I might end up having to look a bit more into that. This is exactly the conversation we really need you to do for. Actually, but he's not here today because it's his birthday and he's spending it with his parents. So
happy birthday, Shadow.
Yeah, shout out to Shadow of Hawk 55. Happy birthday, kid. If you're listening, you shouldn't be though. If you're spending time with your family, what the fuck are you doing? Turn your phone off.
Yeah, stop it. Get some help.
But anywho, all of this to say, this is a good half-hour preamble into the Bill Gates thing. The current Bill Gates thing, I have to say.
Are we going to talk about ticks?
Always a Bill Gates thing. Yes. Did you see the links that I posted in the private chat?
Yeah, I never did do the thing. Here, let me share it.
Yeah. So the first 3 past the Gals Gibson go. And by the way, you might have noticed, folks, pinned at the bottom of the chat on YouTube and at the top on Rumble, a Give Send Go link for our good friend green-haired anti-liberal and her brother, helping them out. They're currently at 4,200 of 6K, which is all they're asking for. So if you can help out, please do. If you can't, please share it out. So, and then, like I keep saying, I'm going to keep shilling this till either the goal is met or she tells me to knock it the fuck off. So if you want me to shut up about it, pass it around till it gets filled up. But yeah, so just shouting that out. I usually do that at the top of the show. We just kind of got right into the conversation, and here we are. But yeah, we're definitely going to get into the boxes plural of ticks, Scotty. Yep, absolutely, Aaron Laura. Happy birthday, Shadu. Thank you. I'm sure he appreciates the wishes from you guys and all that, or he would if he were here, which he isn't, which he should be, because he probably knows more about Charlemagne than is healthy. I mean, we're talking about a guy who will sit down and tell you what some, I don't know, hoplite from 3,500 years ago had for breakfast, as if that's in any way relevant to anything ever, except maybe that guy's ancient IBS. So it is what it is. It is what it is. But yep, throwing out the happy birthday wishes, and even in a little bit of French, Lepo. Happy aging is what I say. Mine is not long. Happy aging? That's fucking dark, man. What is wrong with people who speak French? Anyway, I'm sure he appreciates it, Lepo.
But I'm sorry. There was a bunch of screaming in my living room. All the Sasquatches in there.
Oh, dude, last night on Abyssal Musings, we're in the middle of a conversation. I'm trying to make a salient point, and the next thing you know, my neighbors are screaming at each other in the fucking hall, and everybody can hear that shit through my mic, and I'm like, God damn it.
Hell yeah.
There's I'm just gonna sit here. I'm gonna mute my mic until they stop or somebody gets shot. So yeah.
You ever figure out what they're arguing about?
I wasn't really paying attention. I think it had something to do with the laundry machine.
All right, so my second apartment. My first apartment was a house I split with somebody. The second apartment was a literal apartment, 3-bedroom apartment type place. So I've got neighbors on both sides. The goddamn walls are paper thin. Every morning at 6 a.m. when I walk into the bathroom, I hear the other guy on the other side of the wall go into the bathroom. And he sits there and does his little electric shaving thing. And the whole time he's going, the whole time, right?
Right.
And I stand there and do my shaving thing and all of that. And you hear water turning on back and forth. Been there for about 6 months. And I'm sitting upstairs eating my Cheerios at fucking 5 a.m. or whatever it is. And all of a sudden, the next door neighbor lets up with, "Oh, hell no, you broke motherfucker." And it was on like Donkey Kong from there, bro. Homegirl kicked the window out of the upstairs apartment next door and started throwing his shit out. Started with like an Xbox and some other crap. TVs, just out the window, out the window, out the window. Clothes, wallet, car keys. And so for about 2 hours, I sat right there watching this whole thing go on. And the funniest thing I saw in all of it, and this is so sad, but at the same time it's hilarious. When she threw the dude's wallet out, all the neighbor kids ran over and grabbed the wallet, pulled everything out of the wallet but the money, and tore and broke all of the things, the pictures, the business cards, everything into little bitty pieces, stuffed it all back in the wallet, and put it back in his pile.
Amazing.
People are fucking horrible, bro. Children are the worst.
Right.
What's up, still, man?
Yeah. Welcome in. All you guys coming in now, we appreciate you being here. Thanks for coming. All right. So, did that not click? God damn it. I thought that did. There it is.
All right. Ben Leo posts, what's going on here? Americans are reporting they found boxes of certain species of ticks on their land whose bite causes a disease that makes people allergic to red meat. The Lone Star tick causes alpha-gal syndrome, an allergy that makes red meat taste and smell like a rotting carcass to victims and sparks an allergic response. The CDC reckons 450,000 people have been affected over the years. It comes as Bill Gates funded $7 million in another species of ticks that are released onto farmland to control livestock. What? People are now putting two and two together and suggesting Gates, who of course has massive investment in fake meat firms, is behind the Lone Star tick wave. And farmland, yes. He's part of the reason why land prices have been steadily peaking faster than inflation.
Right. So this is kind of par for the course for Bill Gates. Bill Gates, like, this is one of the things that always gets me about people who go around saying it's the Jews behind everything. I was like, yeah, but we got a white Bond villain of our very own.
You know? Homegrown. Yeah. 100%.
You know? So like, it's like, not all the evil comes from any one group of people. Sometimes people are just fucking evil, and Bill Gates, I think, is exemplary in that regard.
Do you think he's evil or just inconsiderate to an extreme?
Well, considering every one of his projects is, if successful, is going to end in the deaths of millions of people, probably evil.
Okay.
You know, like, keep in mind, this is the same guy who admitted to a few years ago releasing malaria-infected mosquitoes into Florida to see what fucking happened to the local population. You know, this is the same guy who says he wants to put like silver nitrate particulates in the fucking ionosphere to reduce sunlight so that you know, it cools the planet or whatever. What that's actually going to do is reduce sunlight for photosynthesis, which is going to reduce the plant population, which not only will affect how much oxygen we have to breathe, but also our food supply. And now he wants to make us all allergic to fucking red meat. Like, this isn't about any one environmental thing. This is about killing people. Period. You know, this guy is fucking evil, man.
I can't speak against any part of that. I mean, the Balrog has joined the chat. Holy shnikes, bro. You shall not pass. Ask Cash or Grass, bro. You're not getting through for free.
Welcome in. And you know what? This is something that I've heard about that too. By the way, Balrog over in X. People who have been picking up the syndrome that these ticks are depositing into them. It's called alpha-gal, and it apparently, you know, makes shit taste and smell bad, and gives you also, you know, an almost anaphylactic reaction to it. Apparently, there are some people who have gotten better from it for a while with certain treatments, but then it comes back worse than ever, because this is like apparently a very adaptive bug or virus or bacteria. I'm not even sure what it is exactly that's causing the syndrome, but it's something that's communicable via tick bite, which leads me to believe that it's probably also communicable via fluid transmission.
All right, so there are very few. They do exist. There are very few diseases that require an insect or an intermediary species in which to become the virulent version. I believe that's what we're dealing with here. So for some reason, it in the environment doesn't cause this, but when it's introduced via tick bite, it does. So I'm not sure how that exactly works. I think Chagas is like that, and there's another one. I can't remember the name of it, that you get to the tsetse fly. You catch a disease from the tsetse fly. But you can't catch it, as far as I know, any other way other than being bitten by the tsetse fly.
Well, I thought that was a specific form of malaria.
Yeah, it could be. That could be right. But that specific form of malaria can only be contracted through the fly, not the mosquitoes.
No.
Something
I don't know.
like
Maybe it's something like that. Maybe it is. But either way, I mean, this isn't the first time we've seen, ticks with horrible diseases. I mean, Arctic Timberwolf mentioned Lyme disease in the chat. Also, Legionnaire's disease, which most people have forgotten about, but was a very real and very horrible thing for a while.
Legionella. That's a weird one too. It's not terribly communicable from person to person, but it does really like living in HVAC systems, which is weird.
Yeah. It also came out of nowhere and isn't related to anything else, and it's possible was made by us.
Kind of have a theory on that one. So, I don't know, ever since the design of the HVAC system, occasionally people get randomly sick. In fact, there used to be this like urban myth that air conditioners can kill you. They'd make you sick, right? And I mean, at this point, you can kind of see where that would have that grain of truth in it that makes sense. But it wasn't really, Legionella wasn't really identified. And honestly, I don't think we can actually say that Legionella was the cause of the original, Legionnaire disease outbreak, for two reasons. One, I don't believe it was actually identified in any of the patients themselves. It was identified from a later outbreak that took place in the same location, in the same type of environment. And it became known as Legionnaire's disease, not because Legionnaires were the ones who were infected first, where they actually identified that, hey, something weird's going on here, and it allowed them to focus on the hotel itself, the venue, as the source, because it wasn't just Legionnaires catching it, although like 90% of them were Legionnaires at the time, because it was a Legionnaires convention and they were all in the same room.
That was my understanding. Was like it was an American Legion convention where it first popped up. That's why it's called Legionnaire's disease, and this happened in like the 80s, and not we're not talking like Roman legionaries.
Right.
And all that, but it also for like the post saying we do have ticks. Okay, so no. Ticks, you can find ticks most anywhere in North America, in one variety or another. There are many different species, that kind of thing. This is in particular a species that they're referring to as the Lone Star tick, which to my mind is actually a maybe not new species of tick, but new to the area. They're calling it that because Texas is where it started popping up frequently. And one of the things that we had a video that we're not going to, cover directly, but it does get brought up in there that there are ranch owners and whatnot who are finding boxes full of these ticks on their property. Right.
Yeah.
Which is warfare.
Here's my question. What the hell does it mean when it says Lone Star tick disease causes no. It comes as Bill Gates funded 7 million and other species of ticks that are released onto farmland to control livestock? The fuck you talking about, Willis?
I mean,
To control livestock.
probably. Yeah, most likely. By control, he means reduce the population of drastically.
Yeah.
Right, because that's always been his thing. Is like, oh, we got to get rid of all the things. Right, let's get rid of all the cows because they fart, which is a lie. I mean, they do fart, but that's not really why. That's just the excuse that they're using. We gotta get rid of all these people. We're overpopulated. We don't have enough to go around. So let's introduce some more shit into the biosphere to reduce that. I mean, Bill Gates is a wholehearted believer in the reduction.
Georgia Guidestones.
Yeah. Manageable population of no more than 500 million. Then the problem with that I have is that means 7.5 billion have to die.
Can I do it? I want to do it. Dun, dun, dun.
I really need to, I actually have that soundbite. I need to put that into the sound clips and string right here.
Agreed.
But he's one of these people. He's one of these globalist elites who wants to rule over a manageable population, who eat when they're told, breed when they're told, sleep when they're told, shit when they're told. We all wearing gray jumpsuits. We're all going to look a uniform fucking almond color. We're all going to have, like it's the idea. And I think it was said best in the movie Serenity, right? Is that sooner or later they come back around to the idea that they can make people better.
Miranda.
And that's it. That's it right there. They think they can make people better. And that's simply not the case. It is simply not the case, because there are only a handful of ways you can accomplish anything remotely resembling that, and all of them involve some form of extinction or soft extinction. Yeah. We used to have a guy in the chat a while back who was constantly talking about non-aggression and like excising people from society who didn't follow along with that and that sort of thing. And I'm just sitting there and I'm just like, I don't understand how you're not seeing how that's not just as fucking evil as all the stuff that you rail against, right? Because what you're doing is you're coercing people into changing what they are to suit your preferences. Right.
Yeah. And here's the thing. It's simply your preferred view of the sciences, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's his personal opinion on numbers. And I'm sure, I don't know the man personally, but I am sure that he justifies it by saying, well, it's the most accurate science available. And I'm like, available, you sick fuck. You know, he's the same type of person that used to judge people on phrenology.
Mm-hmm. Which is silly.
Phrenology is ridiculous. About the only good that ever came from phrenology was the ability to distinguish possible, not even necessarily probable, but possible genetic lineages through the known measurements of given skulls. Right? What's up, El Perro? Welcome in, bud.
You know what's funny? It's hilarious that you even bring up phrenology, because I just recently got done listening to the audiobook version of Night Watch by Terry Pratchett. And there's a character in there, his name is Swing, who believes in phrenology. He doesn't call it that because, different world or whatever. But when this character dies in the story, he's confronted with death, like capital D, skull and black robes, the whole bit. And he attempts to use his calipers on death. And Death's like, yeah, good luck.
Right. Oh, wow. I just had that whole book flashback through my freaking head.
It's one of his best, man. It's a fucking excellent book.
Dude, it's hard to say, man. I really, really like We Free Men.
We Free Men is up there.
Dude, it's so funny to me because it's a communist society with a queen that refuses to be ruled by a queen, but they call her the Hilda, and she's not a queen.
Yeah.
Nay lairds, nay masters, nay queen.
So, but there is, I think there was a bit that we had, a WEF clip that we had that where they were talking about genetically engineering humans to be allergic to meat.
So let me toss this one out for you. Since, I'm the only person on earth this directly affects. Suppose, hypothetically speaking, suppose you're allergic to beans. And then you catch this disease that keeps you from eating meat. Isn't that a death sentence, pretty much?
Yes.
Nice knowing you, folks. I live in Georgia. We have ticks big as fucking river turtles. Like, let me tell you about the guy my dad had renting a place over here. We used to do, we used to keep like food plots and stuff planted for out of state deer hunters to come hunt. This dude from Texas, he's from Dallas, and he came and stayed the night, and he brought his little RV parked in the front yard. At some point in time, we had to go to a store. And to get to the store, you got to go across these two bridges at the creek. And I remember getting in the truck with him. Pops is on my left, this old dude's on my right. And he is everything Texas. Like, right? He's got the big hat, the big belt buckle, the big boots, the whole nine, bro. He looks like Sam Elliott in everything he ever played. Thank you, man. And we go out, we get in the truck, we riding down the road, and a hog, fairly big one, runs across the road. And the guy goes, "What the hell was that, a dog?" Pop was like, "Nah, it was a pig, man." He's like, "Man, Texas, we got these big red boars, and they're fucking huge, dude. They'll total your truck if you run into them. In fact, you got to have a cattle guard just to drive around in Texas because they're everywhere." Pops nods, doesn't say nothing. We get a little further along. Deer runs across the road. And he goes, "What the hell was that, a goat?" He says, "Nah, it's a deer." He's like, "Man, in Texas, we got these things called mule deer, and they're like 3 times that big. These whitetails." Pops didn't say nothing. We got down by where those two bridges are over the creek, and there was a ginormous Zulu shield size snapping turtle crossing the road. Pops never bumped the brakes. He just went in the other lane, went around him, kept on going. And the guy turns around and looks, "What the fuck was that?" Pop said, "A tick." And I sat there, and that guy's just, the look on his face, that bitch had to be 4 foot across. The biggest goddamn tick I've ever heard of. He never said another word about Texas the whole time. He's, "Welcome in, squirrel sniper." He just dropped it right there.
Well, I feel I pointed this out in somebody else's chat, I think a couple of days ago. Might have been, I think it was Static 2020. Shout out to him. Here's the thing. With very, very, very few exceptions, certain scorpion and tarantula species, arachnids, and ticks are arachnids, do not migrate on their own. Now, you might get a tick on you and get on an airplane and it ends up in a new location. That kind of thing does happen. Most of the time, that's how mosquitoes get around, is they get into those, people be transporting tires, and it rains, and it builds up the fucking like water, stagnant water inside the tires, and they lay their eggs in there, and then the eggs end up 1,000 miles away. So you end up moving shit around like that. It does happen, but on their own, they do not migrate. Right. So when you're talking about like all of a sudden bunches of these fucking things just showed up out of nowhere in a location they never were before, carrying a disease no one's ever fucking heard of before, or maybe has heard of, but it wasn't very common before. That's not a natural occurrence. That's a weapon.
Allegedly. So. I think we're well past that. We're getting one of those blue boxes tonight, bro.
That's why with the ticker.
Yeah, okay, but we're still gonna have a blue box, I guarantee you.
It's entirely possible that we have a blue box. It is just one of those things, man. It's I don't know. I worry because this is not the first time that we've seen something like this, and I guarantee it won't be the last, particularly if it doesn't go as effectively as they're hoping.
What do you know about the Third Reich's malaria project?
Not a lot.
This is an interesting thing. So, during that unfortunate business in the early 20th century, previous to the Operation Paperclip aforementioned over here, there was a group of scientists in Europe that were initially working on trying to cure malaria by basically breeding out the mosquitoes capable of carrying it. That was part of their plan. There was a bunch of different directions they were taking at. Once the war was on, though, they were suddenly tapped to try to figure out how to make malaria more transmissible. Right? How do we get this shit into the places where our enemies are? And keep in mind, these people had just invented an insecticide that would wipe out all mosquitoes that they wanted to wipe out. And so in their heads, they were thinking, okay, we introduced this disease in our enemies. We know that it's going to be there, and so we can treat ourselves against it. None of our soldiers will get sick. All of their soldiers will have problems with it, and their entire war base will be afflicted with this completely unknown disease from Africa by mosquitoes that turned out couldn't live there. And so what they did, this is fucking terrifying to know the level of like scientific know-how that went into some of this stuff. Instead of trying to introduce these mosquitoes directly to Denmark or Spain or wherever, right? They tried that, it didn't work. And so they started breeding the African Anopheles, the mosquito that carries malaria, in colder and colder and colder environments over generations, trying to reduce or increase the survivability in cold winters is what they were worried about. No, there's no end to this experiment. The war ended and these people fucking hid for the hills, and all we have is a bunch of documents from it and almost no results from any of the experiments that were supposedly being perpetrated at the time. But this group of people were also responsible for things, for designs of, they wanted to, what was it? Fuck, I can't remember. It was something really innocuous. They figured out that if you put something like boron or borax or something like that in soil that has anthrax, that the anthrax becomes more easily transmissible to a person from the soil. And so they had this one guy whose whole idea, I can't remember what the chemical was, but there's a specific chemical that kind of supercharges its ability to infect a person. And they were talking about building aerosolized airplanes to spray this stuff all over enemy territory so that suddenly there'd be anthrax outbreaks everywhere, malaria outbreaks everywhere. And there was a handful of other diseases they were playing around with. That fucking place was diabolical, bro.
Yeah. Hey, off topic, man. You remember how much bitching I've done about Trump doing shit while we're live?
I'm sorry, what? I zoned out for a second.
No, that's cool. You know how much bitching I've done about Trump doing shit while we're live on Saturday.
Yeah, it's happening again, ain't it?
The Secret Service just shot 2 people who were shooting at the White House like 10 minutes ago.
Good job. I mean, more power to them.
I don't know too much more than that, folks. That's like, I'm just seeing headlines.
I mean, those bastards could have, waited another 43 minutes or so. 53 minutes. Damn it. I'm going to have to call up Ted Turner and have Ted Turner call Trump.
This Mario Knopfel, son of a bitch. He's like, the suspect at the White House was reportedly armed only with a pistol. You can still kill people with a pistol, dipshit.
Why? Oh, God. Dude, why in the world is it all so very one freaking sided? Is California fixing to go red? Is that what I'm seeing happening?
We'll see. I think they've been
doubt
talking
it.
about it, but I doubt it.
But I mean, if there's a whole bunch of ramifications about this, no minority majority districts, that carries a lot of baggage with it. Like those minority majority districts are the places where things like vote farming, what's the other one? Vote drafting, and the ones where they go and get all the people from. It's one of the things where they allow you to go out and collect other people's votes to deliver to the voting booth, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what the word is, but
ballot farming.
Sure,
isn't that ballot farming?
Sure, something like that. Yeah, I don't think that's the word I'm looking for, but
that might not be.
It's close enough. Ballot harvesting. That's it.
Yeah.
Those places, that's California, that's Illinois, that's New York, that's all of these things. Everybody's supposed to get a vote, and so people go out and collect votes for whatever candidate it is that they're so. But how do you know? That's the thing. How is it that only the Democrats go do this vote harvesting thing, and only Democrat votes get through the vote harvesting process? Is what it seems to be, allegedly. But California has been earmarked Democrat for the past, 30 years, 40 years?
Yeah, since
Reagan, right?
I think since Reagan was governor.
Was Arnold? Arnold wasn't a Republican, was he?
He might have been a Republican, but he sure as shit didn't act like one. Yeah. And I can't remember, was he before or after Gray Davis?
I don't even know who Gray Davis is.
Gray Davis
was a Republican. Yeah.
Yeah. Gray Davis is in large part responsible for the shithole that California has become. Like I know we like to blame a lot of shit on Gavin Newsom, and yes, a lot of shit is on his shoulders, but Gray Davis got that ball rolling hard.
Newsom is another one of our arch villains. We have literal Bond villains walking around out here. I mean, you can make the argument of Jeff Bezos, but he doesn't appear to be doing the same level of harm that like Bill Gates and Gavin Newsom.
I heard a great point by Shoeonhead the other day where somebody was talking about, she was like, yeah, the billionaires are the problem, and maybe that's true, but Jeff Bezos isn't out here stabbing people on subways.
That's true. Accurate. Accuracy is accurate. How do you put that together?
So now she was making a larger point against us on Piker at the time, so it was a whole thing. But by the way, I highly encourage people to go watch Shoeonhead just for the entertainment value alone. That woman is fucking hilarious.
She's decent fat material too.
Yeah, well, I mean, I suppose, I don't know.
I mean, she's a raging leftist loon, and if you like that kind,
right, but she's funny. Which is rare, both in a leftist and a woman.
I hear you. She's funny because she tries to say that shit with a straight face.
Yeah. Well,
without being offended by her own words, which is hilarious. It's sort of this weird kind of champagne irony.
Right. But I do enjoy her content very much, especially when she picks apart somebody on her own side. Oh, good times. Yeah. Anyway, so apparently everybody but the gunmen are okay. The report, again, Mario Knopfel is a fucking idiot. He wrote down, is like, one is unconscious and not breathing, the other is conscious and breathing. I was like, why didn't you just say dead for the first one?
Right.
It's like unconscious and not breathing.
Well, I mean, within 3 minutes, that's dead.
Right? I doubt they got a paramedic to him right away.
That's what I'm saying about the whole weighted language. The weighted language used by the news has become such trash. You can tell what they're trying to do based on the language that they choose to describe something. Well, we have a California man who was arrested for murdering 17 people on a subway. And this guy ends up being like Nairobian.
All right.
He's a California man. A gentleman from Brighton today has been caught, essaying these kids. But it was a Pakistani.
Well, it's like that. He's only been here a year. Abrego Garcia guy that we're having so much fucking trouble getting rid of.
Maryland man.
Like, he's a Maryland man. No, he's fucking not. As far as I know, he was Venezuelan.
How'd that work out for him?
And I mean, maybe he's not actually Venezuelan. I don't know. He's involved with a Venezuelan gang. Very involved. In fact, they keep using the terms human trafficker, right? And I think human trafficker is a PC and polite and modern way of saying slaver.
Pardon me for a moment. Hello, little one.
Yes, welcome in. So I don't know. It's a whole thing. But I guess the point is Bill Gates is trying to kill all of us, and he's taking them
loud noises. Least... Trump rushed off stage after loud noises heard.
Yeah, that was funny. That was
fucking great.
I was like, okay, yeah. What were those loud noises? You want to describe them to me? What they sound like?
It went pow, 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 pow.
Right? so fucking dumb, man. Didn't they said that same thing in Butler, didn't they? It was like,
no, that's what he says. CNN on Butler. Trump rushed off stage after loud noises heard.
Yeah, but they said that they used that exact line at the White House Correspondents' Dinner like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I missed it.
Yeah, because Trump rushed off stage after loud noises because he was in the middle of his address or whatever. Oh man, this is getting fucking ridiculous, man. And he is always doing this shit on a Saturday. I don't know why he likes doing shit on a Saturday, but I stream on Saturday, and if I don't, I hate it when it happens while we're live. And the reason that I do is because I don't actually stare at Twitter the whole time we're fucking live. I'm having a conversation with you and whoever else is here. And so I miss it sometimes. We've had a few times where something has happened, something major has happened, like the Correspondents' Dinner thing. We just carried on with the show and shit because, I didn't notice until afterwards. And then I was like, oh, fuck, this happened while we were live. I don't know. We're not like a professional news organization here.
We're live, and suddenly we went from like 22 people to 3. And I was like, what the fuck just happened? And then you're like, oh, wow, shots have been fired at blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm fine. I'm coughing, but I'm fine.
Goddamn White House always upstaging my ass. Anyway. So no, I'm happy. Everybody's okay, except for the guy who's apparently dead, who was one of the suspects, as far as I know. I don't have a lot more information than that because, like I said, I'm not like glued to the Twitter right now. I'm not checking the news sources as we're live, that kind of thing. But apparently, everybody else is okay. Secret Service did their job for once, So that's that.
That's something you got to say, and I want to be clear about this. When Trump first took office, I swear it felt like the Secret Service had been handpicked to get that man killed.
100%.
That first, actually, I believe it was the second attempt, the Butler one. Do you remember how trash the Secret Service response was?
Yeah. You remember that chubby Secret Service agent, the short woman with the girth? And I'm just like, Trump's like 3 feet taller than you, lady. What exactly are you protecting?
Oh God. And I think it was either the same girl or the other girl that couldn't figure out what to do. And so she ended up randomly drawing her service weapon and trying to put it up. That same chick?
Yeah.
And then, like, after Trump's gone, she's out there walking around in a circle like she dropped her fucking phone. Can't find it. It was sad, dude. I was like, what the hell? I blame diversity hiring.
Yeah, that's part of it. I think that what they actually did was they took some desk analysts and put them in the field.
To make the quota? I'll buy that.
Yeah.
Just slap some traded on them and shuck them right out the door. It's not like anybody's going to try to do anything to the president, right?
Look, I'm sure that, like, for the Secret Service, like all other agencies, there's a bare minimum of like firearm proficiency and CQC that they have to qualify for it. But if they're not up on it, they're not practicing, they're not fucking, out in the field doing shit. That's going to be a problem. If they're not trained to respond properly in stressful situations.
Even if they are trained to respond, they haven't experienced the stressful situations.
Right, because they file.
All right, check this out. All of my life, my father taught me to shoot. He would hand me whatever. He would tell me what he wanted me to do. And then he would sit there and he'd say, start. And I'd do all of the sequence, speaking it out loud. And then after the sequence was done enough that he knew I knew it, I wouldn't have to say it out loud anymore. And then further on and on and on, better shot, better. At some point in time, he would get a feather or like one of those little horns, or just different stuff, a twig. And while I'm sitting there going through the process, he'd reach over and start fucking with me, like right before I'd shoot. And, oh, God, like, it didn't make a damn if you were dead on 50 shots in a row. If you missed that shot, the world is over. What if that was the critical point? You were distracted by a feather. Who did you just hit over there? You don't even know because you didn't hit the target. You didn't hit what you were shooting at. The whole thing, right?
Right.
I did not realize what good that was until one afternoon when I was doing some hog culling for the state, I guess, ultimately. Me and my uncle rode up to a spot, and they're running the pigs with dogs in this direction, and we're just massacring them all because they're pests here. And just coincidentally, one of these bastards comes out of the woods not 10 feet from me. He just breaks out, slides to a stop for a second, and I'm like, holy shit. I'm standing there with like a 270. Like, I was taking this to someone else, and I was going to come back and get my gun. But I didn't have my gun. And so this thing comes running at me, and I split that fucker in two. Because that was beyond point blank range. But here's the thing. He wasn't charging me. He was charging my uncle, and he had his back turned. And I had 0.3 of a second to fire. And at the same moment that I did, my uncle was tapping me on the shoulder trying to get me to look at something in the back of the truck. He had no idea what was going on. And the 270 blows something approximately like a basketball out the other side under the right circumstances, and this was the right circumstance. He got blood smidged across the back of his legs because that fucker slid to a stop at his feet. The first thing he knew that there was a pig around was him looking down going, what the fuck is this on my shoes? But
yeah,
not being able to make that shot at a critical moment would have been heinous, right? I mean, God knows what would have happened.
Yeah, 100%. No, you got to be able to do the thing in split second. It's one of the things. Like you made an argument back immediately after during when we were talking about the Butler thing, because we were live when that happened, and we were, we did it did derail the entire fucking show for pretty much the rest of the night. But you made a point at that time or the following week, I can't remember which, that if they had put like the Cajun, the Dixie Mob up there or the bunch of rednecks
fucking one percenters, dude, call up the biker clubs and be like, hey, we need a protection detail for the president to protect him from the Secret Service. They're gonna have 10,000, maybe 1 million volunteers tomorrow.
Yeah, and also the gunman never would have got close. Because those guys are hopped up
nowhere near. That's right.
Really, really ready to shoot pretty much anything in their peripheral vision. And that's probably true. That's probably true. I don't know, but I think you're right. I think that that particular detail was handpicked to be as inefficient and poor at the job as possible. But that said, folks, you guys want to see something fun instead? Because I got this thing here now. To preface this, we're gonna probably react to this. It's a couple minute long video. It'll be fine. It'll be fun. But you probably should go to the guy's original channel. It's Solid JJ here on YouTube. He makes these fun little fucking shorts. He puts a ton of work into them. And I bring this one up in particular because it dropped this morning, and because I think it accidentally makes a really excellent argument against gun control towards the end.
Oh, I'm all for gun control, sir. Just use both hands.
Right. So
Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice, Doomsday just becomes stronger every time we fight, so the only solution I have now is to just pick him up, fly into space, and then just chuck the guy.
Couldn't that kill him?
Well, if it were anyone else, maybe, but he keeps coming back down, so I assume it's fair game.
Really? You assume? You ought to be more careful.
You know, for someone with a very famous no-kill rule, you don't really seem to follow that philosophy yourself.
What are you talking about?
Okay, when
That's
you say
fair.
no-kill rule, what exactly do you
I
mean?
feel like it's pretty easy to understand. I will not take a life. I will not kill someone. That's it. That's all it is.
All right, but you can admit it's been a bit of a gray area.
No, that's pretty black and
Yeah,
white.
but it's not like nobody dies in a fight with you. Yeah, how about like that time you were fighting the Joker and he fell to his
The
death?
keyword fell. He fell to his death. There's nothing I could have done. I didn't do anything.
Is that all that happened?
I started.
Yeah, no, that whole no-kill rule's been bullshit since day one.
I mean, look, if you go back to the very first 1939 Detective Comics, he is in fact using a gun. He is in fact shooting at people. And there's even another comic that came out in the 50s. It was actually takes place prior to that, where it was his dad in a Halloween costume with a gun shooting people.
Yeah, he had a Tommy gun. You're like rat-a-tat-a-tat-a-tat-a.
Right. There have been exceptions. All of the stuff, like generally accepted stuff that we know about, like for instance, Batman doesn't kill people, right? All of that is contingent on who the writer is and what era you're in, because there have been eras in the past, especially in the beginning, they weren't that careful about it. You know, the dude was based on the Shadow, and the Shadow murks people all the time. You know?
To Shadow. Dude, he's one of my favorite superheroes. Partly, he's not even a superhero, really. He's just the Shadow. Right. He's basically a London ne'er-do-well pickpocket turned Sam Slade gumshoe. Sam Spade, thank you. Sam Spade gumshoe, right? But he just fucking murks motherfuckers out of the darkness constantly. Didn't he have a cane with a fucking 38 in it?
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that.
Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The Shadow.
No, sir. No, sir. If you're going to do that one, you got to do it right.
I don't feel well, or I would.
Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The Shadow knows.
The Shadow knows. Yeah, it's
the Shadow knows. Yeah.
So the other thing about Solid JJ's videos is that he tends to do his research, so he will include all of this like ancient fucking like Golden Age and Silver Age lore in there just to prove a point. Like he did one recently about Supergirl and when she married a horse.
Yeah. I mean, like, I want to know what 12-year-old wrote that one.
Yeah, that was some strange shit. Anywho, let's continue.
Oh my god.
Okay, really? He's a scary guy. Besides, again, I didn't kill him. He fell. I didn't help him up, sure, but that doesn't mean I had to kill him. I'm not responsible for that.
So this actually,
Gravity
hold
gun.
on.
Well, isn't that a nice moral?
This actually brings up a great point. So Batman Begins. Christopher Nolan's beginning of his Batman trilogy, right? Now I like that movie quite a bit. But the whole time Bruce goes on and on and on about how I'm not going to kill, I'm no killer, I'm not going to kill. Well, when he burns down Ra's al Ghul's house, how many fucking people died due to his actions?
Right?
At the end of the movie, when he says, I'm not going to kill you, but I don't have to save you, while he sabotages the machine that he leaves the guy on to die on, how is that not fucking murder?
Premeditated in the first degree, sir.
Right. Like he's like, I don't have to save you. I was like, yeah, but you created the circumstances in which this guy is going to die, and now you're going to leave him to it? That's murder. You are killing him. You did kill him.
But I mean, there's so many more salient examples, though. Yes,
Right.
in most of his really hard, heartfelt, dude. And what was the name of that goddamn series? The one where the Joker moves into the fucking amusement park and he's got all his thugs running around like jesters and shit. And Harley Quinn's like his left hand commander or what the fuck.
Arkham games?
Anyway, the Killing Joke, maybe.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Maybe. Anyway, when Batman comes through that fucking place and leaves it in a fucking burning ruin, how many of them fuckers you reckon died?
Probably quite a few.
Half of them were tied up by the time it caught on fire. And no, he didn't set the fire, but he didn't go back and turn those motherfuckers loose either.
Yeah. Yeah.
He didn't even break stride, dude. He just went straight into the damn tunnel of love to go get the Joker.
It's fucking true, man. It's fucking true. You know, and so yeah, I like to think of Batman as not killing people too, because I do like the character of Batman, and I think that that's a great hard line. In fact, there was a comic. Do you remember when Jean Paul, whatever, the Azrael character took over for Batman for a while after the whole, Nightfall saga?
Kinda.
Okay, so this
that rings a bell. What was the deal there?
Right. So Batman gets his worn down and then is beaten and then his back broken by Bane in Nightfall, right? And then came the middle section where he's recovering and everybody thinks he's dead. So Azrael steps up to be Batman in this like basically fucking Iron Man Punisher looking crossover suit that's like ridiculously huge and armored and got spikes and shit all over it. And he, of course, is a religious fanatic who believes in punishing the guilty lethally. So he may not be the best choice, like morally, for this. And there comes a point in the story where he's facing a serial killer named Abattoir, which is that's a name. And they're in some factory or other, and Abattoir's hanging by his fingernails over like a 2 or 3 story drop or some shit like that. I don't know. It was something high enough to kill him. And Azrael simply makes the choice not to help him up. Guy loses his grip, falls to his death. And there's an entire storyline about why that was the wrong fucking choice.
Yeah. And yet it is literally Batman's go-to is to basically chase them until they are forced into a position of death.
Think about the Tim Burton Batman when Joker's like hanging on to the rope ladder at the end of the movie from the helicopter, right? And Batman's like, "Here, I'm going to chain you to this loose ass gargoyle that weighs 800 pounds."
Right? Oops. Oh my, who could have foreseen that happening? Ew.
Right? Or in Batman Returns when he just starts murking the fucking circus people in the sewers left and right. There's a flamethrower at one point.
What's up, Wizard Media? Welcome in, bud. Scotty Waddles, good to see you.
So that was
all right. Somebody brought it up in chat a minute ago, and I want to address it. He said who's talking about. Yeah, sure, Batman doesn't kill people. Meanwhile, Casey Jones out here murking drug dealers left, right, and center. Casey Jones was a psychopath, brother. He's not a hero.
We're talking Casey Jones from the Ninja Turtles, right?
Yeah, he's not a hero.
Yeah.
At all.
Here's the other thing you got to keep in mind. The Turtles weren't exactly squeaky clean either. They were ninjas. Ninjas kill people.
No. All right, so I know I do this every time we bring up the Turtles, but I have to. I can't not do it. I want to know how it is that 4 turtles who grew up in the sewers in Harlem grew up to end up talking like 3 white guys from the Midwest.
Yeah, that's.
So if you're unaware of this, and I can't tell you to go look for it, there was a group of people who later did World Star stuff, who redubbed the Ninja Turtles as 4 black guys from Harlem. And it is the funniest shit. You will injure yourself watching it. Now, because it's so heinously racist, most of it's been scrubbed from YouTube.
Yeah.
But it's the Teenage Mutant N-Word Turtles. And you might, if you search hard and you're clever about your search parameters, you might be able to find like 5 or 6 episodes still extant on YouTube. But they did all 3 movies. There is a line from Raphael in this movie talking to Splinter where he says, he asked what a condom is. Like, what's a condom? Right? There's another line talking about Splinter comes downstairs talking to Raphael, and it's like, what you talking about? You little Halloween snickedick?
You know,
I have seen people cry laughing at this stuff. I love, it's one of my favorite things to show people backstage when I'm like, listen, I want to see how triggered you're going to be by this. I showed Joe Cool.
Yeah.
And he laughed so hard, he blew snot bubbles out on his phone and had to clean it.
Yeah, you're going to have to probably show me that offline at some point. But
oh, yeah. No, we'll do it backstage on a dead cell, bro. Like, I want no evidence of me associated with that.
The whole Harlem thing is not entirely accurate, right? So canonically, you go back far enough, and I do, the Ninja Turtles were just in one of the boroughs. It never specifically says which one, because the inference is that they're in Hell's Kitchen specifically because it was the same accident that created Daredevil that created them.
It was the same chemicals. Yeah.
Which is also why the foot exists as the foot. They are a reference to the hand from Daredevil. It's why Splinter's name is Splinter. He's a reference to Stick, Daredevil's ninja mentor. Right. Like the guys were very, very, very big fans of the Miller run on Daredevil, who were writing all this stuff. But I do find it kind of interesting that in the it was 1990, I think, the first live action Ninja Turtles movie, the only one of the turtles who actually sounds like he could be from New York is Raphael.
And
And he does. He sounds like a New Yorker. He talks like a New Yorker the entire fucking time. But meanwhile, Michelangelo's out here sounding like fucking Spicoli from Dazed and Confused.
From fucking South California. Yeah, from SoCo.
Right.
And
he's a burnout surfer. Shit.
And then one of my favorites, dude, this is the best, is casting Corey Haim for the voice of one of them is one of the most hilarious things.
It was Feldman. It wasn't Haim. It was Feldman.
Feldman, my bad.
Feldman. He was Donatello. Yeah.
Straight.
Yeah, which is really funny because actually, the guy who voiced Raphael is also the only one of them who is also the same guy in the suit. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. I do find it funny that he's the only one who sounded like he was fucking remotely from New York.
Yeah. I don't know, the redub, the World Star, I can't remember who the guys were. They had their own little comedy thing that they did for a while on YouTube, and very early YouTube.
Right.
And, all of that stuff was hilarious, and it all got nuked from orbit. Obviously, because it was heinously. It's all the bad things that the left hate. It was all of it.
Right.
What was it?
I mean,
on,
the Ninja Turtles were as original as they could be. A lot of this stuff was obviously inspired by Daredevil and specifically the Miller run on Daredevil. But yeah, no, and they also were the beginning of that whole like cute humanoid animal martial artist phase that happened in the 80s.
Yeah. Everything with new martial arts in the 80s.
You remember Biker Mice from Mars?
One of the most clever uses of animation, I think. Do you know why the Foot Clan was robots in the cartoon?
Yeah, because they were people in the comics and they were getting slaughtered.
Yes, so that the Ninja Turtles could kill them and it wouldn't make them look like monsters. They're just killing robots. It's nothing to worry about.
No, that's the only reason that they were machines at all. You know, was basically because they couldn't get around the whole Saturday morning cartoon thing. They were murking dudes.
Yeah, there was a no death on screen clause to fall into whatever time block they wanted. It's the same reason why He-Man, why Skeletor always gets away.
That's why nobody gets shot in G.I. Joe ever.
Yeah, you just see them spraying bullets just randomly. They're never even pointing guns at each other. It's fucking hilarious.
Yep. So, as a matter of fact, I don't think He-Man even like. I think he punches somebody once in the beginning of the series, and that's it.
I mean,
rest of the time he's just using like mild wrestling moves and nets and that kind of thing. Yeah. So, but
put a bit of Hammerlock. 17 episodes in a row. Fucking shit. Here.
I'll work around.
Oh, get off your high horse, mister. I almost did a genocide.
You do that one time.
Look, as heroes,
the
we all
parallax
gotta
thing,
make
yeah.
concessions. I don't like to.
So, for those who don't know, Hal Jordan goes crazy at one point, gets infected with parallax, which is the entity that controls fear, which is Sinestro's whole thing. And he murders the entire Green Lantern Corps and kills all of the Guardians on Oa and collects all the rings for himself. Which is why now there is only one Green Lantern and he's from Earth. Or at least for a while it was. Now there's like fucking half a dozen of them again. They built up the Corps again or whatever. But yeah, no, Hal Jordan wiped out the Corps like by himself.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about the Corps is it's not just, one species. it's more than this is more like a Thanos snap than a genocide, like,
I mean, it is
multiple genocides.
It is of interest to me that there is one Green Lantern for every sector in space except our sector. There are 4 at a specific period of time. You got Hal Jordan, this guy. You got John Stewart, came after him. You got, we're not even talking about Alan Scott because his powers are actually magical and it's a whole other thing. You got Guy Gardner, who everybody fucking hates. And you've got Kyle Rayner, who comes in later and then transitions from Green Lantern to a White Lantern at a certain point. But at one point, all 4 of them are running around with rings. I was a Justice League guy, and a lot of it was tangential.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I never was a comics guy, but I had one of my best friends was a comics guy, and he would like come to me constantly. You need to read this, man. This is great. You need to read this, man. It's great. You need to read this one. You need to read that one and this one and this one and that one and that one and this one, this one, and that one, and then you need to read those over there after you read the right. And he realized one day I just spurred out on his ass, and he realizes that that's not the way to get me to read them. The way to get me to read them is to put them in the bathroom and just don't say nothing. Just leave it there. And when I go in there, I'll pick it up and read it. And so he basically selected the most influential comics to read by placing them in the bathroom because he wanted me to read them. Right. And so now, years later, I've read just about everything that everyone references except for the crappy shit. I've never touched a terrible comic. Well, one of the only Superman series I've read to any level of completion was Red Sun.
Oh, that's a fucking great.
Awesome. Right.
Yeah, it is. It is not canonical. It is Elseworlds, but it is excellent.
It is beyond compare.
Yeah, indeed. I don't like it. So, oh, by the way, Abe's in the chat. Where the fuck are you, Abe? But anyway, so let's go ahead and continue.
Oh yeah.
Commit violence, but sometimes that's the only way to stop crime.
Don't say that like we're all doing the same thing. There are levels to what we do. Like there's the level where we're at, where we punch and kick people around and then throw them in jail, and then there's the level of you where you put them in like fucking forever comas.
What I'm hearing is I'm a
This guy had no arms and legs. I mean, it's a good point.
He's not wrong. I mean, how many times has the villain ended up with both arms and both legs broken from a high fall? Like, that shit's happening all the time around Batman. It's almost like he's causing it.
Real quick, Abe, Jessica Cruz came way later than the era I'm talking about. And then she was replaced by a male and female twin. Like, I don't know if they were twins or whatever, but they basically shared the Lantern powers. way later. The era I'm talking about specifically, though, was there were only 4 at the time, not counting Alan Scott.
But I mean, it kind of makes a little bit of sense. The amount of bullshit going on in this particular part of space, in this particular part of the universe, in this
Underscores got
timeline. Yeah, I just helped gravity do its job. That's too right. There was one, I can't remember. I can't remember what arc it was. But anyway, Batman's working his way through some underground fucking secret base on the north side of like New York or whatever, Metropolis or Gotham or whatever. Anyway, these ritzy fucking houses up there, and he's doing that weird gumshoe shit where he finds the secret door and goes down the natural cave system, where of course here's the entire criminal element doing all their criminal things all at the same time, and Batman sneaks in there like a freaking ninja and starts tying, like knocking people out, tying people up and gas bombing them and shit like that. Later you find out that this particular cave system was once used to redirect the river in Gotham to build the dam, right, that powers Gotham today. And in the process of going through, one of the things he does is he leaves one guy. Somebody was trying to run into him, and he hit him with a batarang, and they plowed into a catwalk. All the people on the catwalk fall down. One guy jumps out and is swinging on this damn cable hanging from the roof, and he just drives off and leaves that dude up there, like a 60-foot drop below him. And he was stopped up under him when all of this happened. He pulls the guy with the batarang. He probably killed the batarang guy too, come to think of it, because he fucking whipped it this way and it came in the window and hit him in the side of the head. Batman just throws him out, gets in the truck, drives away. But for a split second, he stops and looks up at the guy. There's a panel of him looking up at the guy. Could have just dropped him right there. 2 seconds, homie climbs off and drives away. And he grunts and drives away. Not 5 minutes later, he has a choice between hitting a switch and following a guy into a tunnel to keep the other people from coming in, or not hitting the switch and having to go out the way he came in and go back up top to catch him, right? Mm-hmm. And he hits the switch, knowing that this will redirect the river back through these tunnels and kill absolutely everybody in the joint. He hits the button, he hits the switch, runs through the fucking valve before it closes, and catches the guy on the other end of it trying to get into his car. But let me point out, these guys were doing a fucking money printing ring. They were doing counterfeit currency. They weren't hurting a soul. These weren't hardcore gangsters that were running around with Tommy guns and,
yeah, they were like the contractors on the Death Star.
Yeah, exactly. These guys were just printers. They were chemists and lab techs. And when you think about it that way, it makes perfect sense that a ninja was able to fucking work his way through the entire goddamn group, leaving them all tied up behind himself, no chance of escape, and then flushes them out with the goddamn trash. Like, holy shit, that's diabolically evil. There had to be 150 people in that joint.
Well, there were. There aren't anymore.
Throw them in jail, and then there's the level of you where you put them in like fucking forever comas.
What I'm hearing is I'm effective.
Batman, the same way that you were like the...
What I'm hearing is that I'm effective.
Your assholes keep coming back. My assholes are just an asshole.
Minor attraction for life.
Wow. Oh, wow. I saw one of the funniest things I've ever laid eyes on. I was on a panel a couple of nights ago, and my fucking internet goes out in the middle of this. Of course it does. I was just fixing to start restreaming it because it was so hilarious. There was a black Hebrew Israelite.
Oh, those guys are fun.
Oh, yeah, no, it was fucking solid gold. And he was arguing with an Orthodox Jew.
Oh.
And, bro, I'm over here, like, laughing so hard I'm crying. They've got me backstage. They won't bring me up. and I'm just, ooh. I managed to get up for like 2 seconds and my internet went out, and I was like, the amount of victimhood narrative that was bouncing back and forth over here is absolutely absurd. Like, they were both victims of the white man, and the black Hebrew Israelite is like, but you whited all them motherfuckers.
Right.
And the Orthodox Jew was like, oh no, that is not the case. We are not actually white. And I mean, looking at the way they've been treated over the past 5,000 years,
Look,
they're kind of black when you think about it.
In the United States, we used to consider the Irish as separate from white.
Yeah, I know. Trust me, I know, dude. But not the Irish. I mean, that was one of the best jokes in Blazing Saddles.
Yeah.
It made me cry, laugh so hard, because nobody knows about this shit. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about the oppression of the Irish under the Tammany Hall administration. Like, fuck. Like, you know that in a certain period in New York City, when you got off the boat, if you were from Ireland, you would be like almost literally frog marched out of the city. They would straight up send you to Philadelphia or anywhere else. Then they would pitch it like this. This is a fucking nefarious genius of politicians. Congratulations, it's your lucky day. You get a free trip to Philadelphia, and we're going to put you right on this old horse cart carriage over here with all the bars on the windows, and we're going to take you straight over there. Your future is in Philadelphia today, right?
I think they sent most of them to Massachusetts.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was just anywhere but here. Anywhere but here. In Massachusetts, they could put them back on a boat and send them. So, yeah, it was probably a lot of them there.
Yeah.
Boston.
So here's the thing. It depends. It depends on who they're talking to and what they're after, frankly.
Right. What's weird, I thought this was really strange. In the middle of this diatribe going back and forth between these two guys that have both of them have completely absurd beliefs. There was, what was it?
Dude, did the Black Hebrew Israelite keep bringing up like Edomites and mudslides?
Dude, it was fucking hilarious. But hold on. In the middle of it, the Black Hebrew Israelite said, but in any event, we've got to break down the structured racism of the white man before we can go any further in any of this. And the goddamned Orthodox Jew agreed. It was the one thing that they agreed on with no further context. He was just like, oh yeah, that's very true. You know, and they went on to a different subject to argue about, like the 13th tribe or whatever the fuck. They went off about that for like a long time. And then they started hating on Mormons, which was even more hilarious because it was funny because they've heard about Mormons. They've never actually spoken to any Mormons because they had the broad strokes of it down, but the details were just all wrong.
In my experience, that is typically the case. Is most of the people who bag on Mormons have never actually spent any time around them, ever. I've
never met a bad Mormon.
I grew up around Mormons, was raised Mormon myself. I am not a Mormon, but I know plenty of them. And no. I mean, yes, some of them are shitheads, just like any other group of people.
Sure. But what I'm saying is I have never encountered a Mormon that was rude, obnoxious, that was insistent, that did any type of covert contracting type bullshit. Every Mormon I've ever met were exactly what they seem to be, right? A religious, upstanding individual in his own community, which is a little different. To be fair,
they did also give us both Mitt Romney and Stephanie Meyer.
Well, Mitt Romney is comedy gold.
Right, but giant piece of shit. And Stephanie Meyer
sure.
for the worst fucking girl porn ever created.
Tell you what you do. I want you to do this. I really do. Something like this. It doesn't have to be Mitt Romney, but pick a politician. Mitt Romney would be a decent choice. And go look at the quotes these people have said in the past. Oh, some of them are delicious.
Oh, yeah.
I have none jump into mind at the moment, but like you hear a lot from AOC of all like the cow farts and everything like that. Okay, bartender, can I have another drink?
You know what my very favorite thing that she ever said was? You remember when fucking Alex Stein was going after her on the steps of Congress a while back, and
vaguely,
right? And so he was saying, big Latina booty over and over again, right? So she gets on her phone and films him, quote unquote, harassing her from 50 fucking feet away. Right. And she's like, this animal over here, he keeps going on about my big juicy Latina booty. I was like, he never said juicy, lady. You added that.
But she is
you
right.
You added that. Oh, I mean, she is right. It is a juicy booty.
It's objectively a juicy booty. I can't argue with her on
fair.
that
I'm just
point.
Saying, Alex Stein never said juicy. Not once.
Sure. Sure.
So, I just thought it was funny that she added that.
Yeah, but I mean, it's brilliant. Really, it's actually excellent. Marketship.
Look, if she was wearing that fucking tight white dress, she looked good. I will say this: do not, people in chat and people out in the world at large, do not allow yourself to be mesmerized by the commie titties.
Dude, I hear you. Here's what I do. Here's a good policy, and it's not 100%. # not all. When you meet a woman or a man for that matter, and they have the central nose ring, that is an immediate red flag. Do not engage. In fact, you will do better if you just avoid that engagement entirely.
It didn't fucking used to be. That's the sad part.
Actually, it was just that the people.
Well, it was a red flag for other things. It wasn't like a
it was other
thing.
things.
It was like you're gonna end up chained to a bed and like fucking rob kind of thing. There may be a kidney missing. There may be needles involved.
Almost certainly, definitely blades, chains, possibly a whip.
They're certainly going to want you to put a fucking leash on them at some point.
Yeah. This is accurate.
But it was a sex thing. It wasn't a commie thing.
Well, today, if they've got the septum ring, they are almost guaranteed to be emotionally compromised and completely irrational.
Yeah.
I'll give you another red flag. Bird hands.
Look,
if you see somebody talking at you like this.
Oh yeah. No. That's you stay away from that shit. That's absolutely true. But old Bliney, look. Commie mommy's a good looking woman.
And it's not wrong to look.
It covers not only her collarbone but her neck. So I appreciate a woman with modesty. even if she is a Bernie bro, which is unfortunate. Anywho, we keep getting way off track, but I think we're certainly transforming the content here.
Definitely.
The peak of human capability, I think you have actually hurt people to the brink of what's possible before death, like the actual 1 percentile.
All right. I admit I'm pretty fucking awesome, and I kick the shit out of people. No powers, by the way. No powers.
Let's stop this episode.
And maybe I do go a little far. Maybe someone jaywalked, and now he's not able to do much.
He's certainly not jaywalking anymore. At least not without help. God damn, dude.
This shit gets a little dark.
Oh, wow.
Much of that anymore, but you know what? Still kicking. Still alive. He's still able to move around. Come on, he's got his tongue. He can go move it around.
You find that funny?
It's effective. I'm sorry. If I break all their arms and legs, they're going to eventually come back, maybe. They're not dead, but they're sure as hell not going to do that shit again, are they?
Are they reformed? They're reformed. No, sir. No, sir. They're now a ward of the state.
Okay, but that's not reforming them. That's reforming them, physically. They're not the same shape anymore.
All right, what I'm hearing, though, is that I'm completely right, that I don't kill anyone, and it's totally fine that I keep doing that.
Are you seriously not taking any responsibility for a life lost?
Well, there is one. Jason Todd.
Jason?
Yep, and I've got to live with that.
He was beaten with a crowbar and then blown up.
That one's on me.
That's the one time. It's not on you. That's the one time.
That one's on me.
I don't know why we're expecting consistency from this guy when we've seen how he's handled his no-gun policy.
No. I have never used a gun.
What's funny about the Jason Todd thing, if you have not read A Death in the Family, right, where Jason Todd gets killed. First of all, what's funny about it is that the editors put out a poll before they ever released this story, because they hadn't written it yet, asking how people felt about Jason Todd, and like it came back overwhelmingly that people wanted to see that character die because he sucks, because he did. So essentially what happens is the Joker lures Jason Todd to the Middle East by kidnapping Jason Todd's mother, and then captures Todd while he's there, beats the shit out of him with a crowbar, as was stated here, and blows him and his mother up. They die. They're just boom. They're dead and all that. Now Batman gets there just after the explosion, like minutes, maybe seconds after the explosion. Not enough time to save anybody's life. Todd's dead, right? So he goes on this whole I gotta find the Joker and fucking punish him thing for it. So how does the Joker get around this? He runs to the fucking Ayatollah. And he becomes Iran's ambassador to the United Nations, which grants him diplomatic immunity for any crime committed anywhere in the world.
Oh, baby.
It's a fucking wild story. But Superman's right here. That's like the one time it's not Batman's fault.
I have never shot a gun. I've never shot a gun at people. I've never shot a gun at people with the intent to kill them. Well, that was the 40s. It was free game.
Oh, come on.
They had their kids in the mines, and you could...
I gotta see that again.
Time, it's not on you. That's the one time.
That one's on me.
I don't know why we're expecting consistency from this guy when we've seen how he's handled his no-gun policy.
No. I have never used a gun. I have never shot a gun. I've never shot a gun at people. I've never shot a gun at people with the intent to kill them. Well, that was the 40s. It was free game.
Oh, come on.
That was the 40s. It was free game.
They had their kids in the mines.
Right.
Kids in the mines, and you could buy meth at the convenience store. There were no rules.
Look, Bruce, we've all been there. No one here wants to kill people. Depends on the writer. But we've all been pushed to the point where there was...
I mean, it does. It does depend on the writer. Even Superman has killed.
Bruce, we've all been there. No one here wants to kill people. Depends on the writer. But we've all been...
Yeah. I can name several occasions Superman has killed. Right. Number one, in a parallel universe where he uses gold kryptonite to permanently remove the abilities of Zod, Quetzal, and Feora. And then he uses green kryptonite to execute them because they already murdered the entire planet Earth in that dimension.
Also, there's another dimension in which Superman doesn't actually kill anyone, but he lobotomizes them all.
Yeah.
Uses his laser vision to burn out some critical part of the brain. Turns them into just drooling zombies. In
Superman versus Aliens, right? Which, yes, is a thing. He gets to a point, he can't figure out if the xenomorphs are intelligent, sapient species or not. He can't tell. But it gets to a point where he's just so fucking sick of them that he just starts lasering their faces off.
Yeah. I came across a channel I think you'd like because it's got some really wacky crossovers in it. Basically, there's a channel out there, and I can't remember the name of the channel off the top of my head. I've got a couple of their videos saved. And it's like, what if scenarios? What if Superman went to 40K? What if Iron Man met the Green Goblin? What if this? What if that? They got one is what if Saitama, One Punch Man, went to 40K?
That would be interesting because Saitama doesn't give a fuck about anything but his discounts on Sundays.
And his noodles.
Yeah. and his friend Genos. Like later on,
and the people,
quite a bit about Genos. Yeah.
He really likes his neighborhood too.
Yeah, because it's nice and quiet because all the monsters are dead.
Yeah, because nobody fucks around over there, even a little bit. Because when they do, this random bald fuck over here comes out and punches them into the next dimension.
Dude,
you should really go check out Saitama going to 40K. It is great.
I will probably look that up because I'm not a 40K fan. I think it mostly is retarded.
You don't have to be, but you know enough culturally for it to work.
Unfortunately, I know a little more than culturally, but yeah. Like if I know who Trazen is, I know a little bit more.
Well, then we'll get into the Horus conspiracy.
It's a whole thing. But anyway, I fucking love One Punch Man. It is probably the best power creep satire I've ever read. Ever by any stretch. Like, do you remember the bit where he's having that dream where the mole people come up and he's fighting them all, and it's like this epic battle and they're fighting back and all that shit. And when he actually encounters the mole people, they're dies in one punch. He's like, oh god damn it.
Well, see, that's the beautiful part about this Warhammer crossover is he was on his way home with his noodles, and he had his little bag, and a fucking Tyrannid pops up through a portal, and he sets down his bag and cracks him upside the head, starts to walk away with the bag, like knocks him back through the portal, and the goddamn thing tries to climb back through the portal, and he's like, ugh. And so he hit, but this was a different one, right? Because the first one just left, like, ka. And so he ends up going through the portal to close the portal so that no more can come through. And then he's going to go home and eat his noodles. And when he gets into Warhammer, he destroys Tyrannid for the first point, right? He hits them and they all die, and he just spends a day doing that and kind of chills out the area, and then he grabs his bag and goes to try to cook some noodles, and the Warhammer people get a hold to him, and he becomes part of the human empire almost immediately. And what's hilarious, one of the best parts, the commissar is standing there through the whole meeting between Saitama and the upper echelon of the human empire, the imperial representatives. And as soon as he leaves the room, what?
The Imperium of Man, yeah.
Right, the Imperium of Man. As soon as he leaves the room, the commissar looks over and says, I need you to do a full work down on what it would take to kill that man. And the guy looks at him and goes, he cleaned a planet of Tyrannids. I'm not sure we can, sir. Very well. I will notify the Mechanicus or whatever. I will notify the Mechanicus. They will dispatch a full team to investigate his strength. And later the Mechanicus shows up and he's just like one punching them fuckers out of existence. Like, they just don't even have a register for the level of power this motherfucker brings, and the whole time he's carrying around this bag of fucking noodles trying to find a hot plate.
Well, I'm watching this power comparison video the other day between him and like Son Goku, and I'm not a Dragon Ball fan either, but it is what it is. Anyway, they were talking about where Saitama and Guru, who was like the evil version of him, they get to a point where Guru's basically God and Saitama's just farting worlds he's standing on out of existence, like with his ass, with air blasted out of his ass.
Right.
It's the silliest fucking shit. It is the silliest shit.
It starts off the silliest shit.
Oh yeah.
the fucking
mosquito woman.
No, dude. Yeah, no, that's so stupid.
At the end of the episode, he's like, mosquitoes suck.
One of the early episodes when his little homeboy sidekick dude
Genos
is like, hey, I need to know what you do that makes you so strong. He's like, all right, I will tell you.
Oh, it takes him forever to fucking tell him.
Yeah. 100 sit-ups. And
100 crunches.
100 crunches. And then you run, what was it, 10 miles, 5 miles?
It's 10 kilometers a day.
Right. and homeboy's like, wait, I do that. I do more than that every morning.
No, it gets better too, because it's not just, it's specifically his regimen is those things that you just mentioned every single day for 3 years until his hair fell out.
Yeah, but I don't think it was 100.
It's just a basic fucking exercise regimen.
Yeah. Until his hair fell out. Well, he's too powerful for hair. Something like that. It's got to be.
Yeah.
Right.
Pushed to the point where there was
same reason Dr. Manhattan's bald.
Right.
nothing else we could do. The best thing we could do is to make sure we never have to do it again, not pretend like it's never happened.
Look, to tell you the honest truth, we have all died so many times. I've died multiple times, and I don't know. I guess like the sanctity of life has just been completely fucking lost on me. I mean, you know the whole world is dying, right? Like the whole world has been wiped out. The whole world, everyone. There can't be anything after this. How would that even work? How the fuck would that even work? Would there be like 3 of us there? 4 of us? Like everyone? This is the shit that goes on in my head. You guys do not worry about me enough.
Look, I just need you to understand.
I feel the same way. Like I have this response that I trot out every now and then when somebody says some shit and I don't say anything, and I'm like, I'm never thanked for the things I did not say.
Right.
Shadow.
Oh man.
Oh, tongue studs are just good fun there, bro.
Yeah. No, that is one of, I think, probably my favorite lines in this particular video is you guys do not worry about me near enough.
The things in my head.
Understand this one basic thing. Just because you don't actively kill someone doesn't mean you're not partially responsible. If someone falls off a cliff because you didn't help them up, it's on you, man.
Well, I'd argue that.
Your logic is just very dangerous, Batman. I mean, if someone were to use a gun, right, and they shot someone, are they killing them, or is it the bullet flying through the air doing it? Is it the gravity, inertia, all that bullshit? Is there any way to even tie someone to a murder ever again?
Huh. Well, I've never thought of it that way.
So
Right, guys.
Right there.
We're all friends here. You know, we just want to.
that might be one of the best arguments against gun control I have ever heard. It's not that it's a new argument, and I have heard it before, but the way he puts it there, I think it was inadvertent. But you just argumented against restrictions on the Second Amendment, man, and you did so very well.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Is
I
it the
don't
gun's
hate it.
fault? Is it the bullet's fault? Is it fucking inertia's fault? Or is it the dude who pulled the fucking trigger?
Yeah, no, it's a tool, dude. Like, if you beat somebody to death with a hammer, it's not the hammer's fault.
Right. I mean, unless you're in the UK, in which case they're going to ban samurai swords because somebody Ginsu knifed somebody. With a Ginsu knife,
the
not a samurai
UK,
sword.
dude, it just, I mean, like, the UK has become a bizarro world parody of itself.
Mm-hmm.
There is some wild shit going on over there.
I mean, it's
What do you reckon is going to pan out from, like, I heard somebody go off for an hour and a half on the existence of Reform Britain, and I sat there the whole time thinking, wait till he sees Restore Britain. They're the ones, bro. They're the ones that seem to be carrying the weight.
dude. In light of things that have been going on and coming to light recently in the UK and all that stuff, and by recently I mean in the last 5 years or so. You remember the Knife Angel,
Refresh my memory.
the statue made of all those knives that were used in murders?
Oh wow, no, I missed that one.
Oh shit! I'll see if I can find an image of it. But anyway, it was a sculpture that was made by someone who wanted to bring attention to the sheer amount of knife crime, right, in the UK, in London and Bristol and all those places. And every single knife that was used to create this statue had been used in a crime. Almost all of them had been used in murders.
That sounds like an altar to Moloch, bro. Like that's some Christ, not Christ.
Well, it was this wasn't like a let's worship the thing. This was a like this is fucked up and we gotta put a stop into it kind of thing. But
no, I get you. But what I'm saying is like that's the kind of shit you would expect to find at night in India with like fucking skulls burning around it and shit. Yeah, that does not. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, it's funny that you mention it like that too, because one thing that never ever got brought up in conjunction with it was the ethnicity of the perpetrators whose knives those were.
Right. I wonder how.
I mean, I'm sure a
Sikh
bunch of them were
blades
white. We're talking thousands of knives.
Sure, but I wonder how many Sikh blades were in it.
Probably not that many, because Sikhs aren't really known for that shit. But yeah,
they're not. But they are known for having something of a hair trigger tipper.
Indeed. Well, I mean, they finish shit. They don't start it. generally speaking. Apparently,
Yeah, no, I mean they are very good, but that's what I'm saying.
too.
It's a hair trigger thing, though. Like they are perfectly courteous up until you reach the cutting point, and then it's over. They're all armed. Every single one of them is armed.
Right.
As we continue.
Okay.
Well, I've
I
never
did
thought
find
of
an
it
image
that
of it. So
Right?
yeah, let's finish
What?
this and then I'll bring it up.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, look, we're all friends.
Well, let's
here.
finish
You know,
this
we
and
just
then I'll
wanted to
bring
have a
up the image.
dialogue. Just talk it out and see where Batman goes.
Surprise! It's brought to you by GamerStop. Shine. If you act fast, you too can own your very own tub of
Wait a
just
second.
So here's the ad portion.
Okay. There we go.
All right.
You have link, or you want to do it, or
Oh,
touch
this is
tips.
just a static image, so I can pop it up. But this is the Knife Angel statue.
Hold up, let me. Oh, that's horrendous. That's terrifying.
Yep.
We should definitely make an AI movie of that thing going around killing immigrants. Somebody in the chat, get on that.
And
I
as
want
you
to
can
watch
see,
that
it's
by
made up
4
of,
o'clock tomorrow
fucking-
afternoon. Is that a Civil War sword?
All of those
Holy
knives.
shit.
Yeah, there's a cleaver.
This is like fucking Game of Thrones level bullshit.
All of
Oh
the
my
feathers are
God.
blades.
That's terrifying.
This is a
That is-
lot of knives.
Heinously terrifying.
You had never seen this before? I'm surprised.
Mm-mm. I mean, I might have seen the image. It seems vaguely familiar, but I didn't realize what it
Hey, Grant.
is.
Yeah.
I don't know,
it's-
man. That's pretty,
It's a
freaking
very
weird.
morbid
Terrifying.
monument to a lot of murders, a lot of murder victims.
So we got
All right,
idiot
but,
doing idiot
like I
stuff.
said-
Check this out. I
Yes,
mean-
yes. This is fun. This is fun. So apparently there is a quote unquote aquatic mode or amphibious mode on Cybertrucks, and this guy wanted to test it out, right? Because he bought the Cybertruck, wanted to check all the features or whatever. Probably got it fully loaded, and you want to read what he was fucking
It says
charged
alert
with?
from X Alerts. Man arrested after putting his Cybertruck in Wade mode and accidentally sinking it in lake in Grapevine, Texas. Officers responded to a call about a Cybertruck sunken off of Katie's Woods Park boat ramp at around 8 p.m. Authorities say the driver put his Tesla in Wade mode, and shortly after driving into the lake, the car shut down and began taking on water. All passengers in the vehicle were rescued, and the driver, who remains in jail, was charged with operation of a vehicle in closed section of Park Lake, no valid boat registration, and numerous water safety equipment violations. He didn't have his fucking life jacket on, bro.
Yeah. Also, he didn't have a permit for the boating.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but if you're going to hit him with a no boating permit, you're accepting that thing as a sea vessel, just on its surface, and suddenly a whole shitload of violations roll into view.
Right.
You know what they'll do to you if you don't have enough flotation devices? Your ass gets arrested, bro. They snatch you up on they could write you a ticket. They don't. They just arrest your ass. They'll be on the phone, call it. They'll hit somebody up. Next thing you know, your ass is in the pen. And almost everything they do is felony based. If you get charged by like a park ranger or somebody like that, like a game warden,
they're
that
federal
shit's
officers. Man.
all federal, all of it.
Yeah, that's I don't know. Part of me is kind of like
Ask me how I know.
kind of thinking that some of these charges are just like, okay, whatever. That seems excessive. But on the other hand, like, what idiot trusts Wade mode?
What the fuck is Wade mode?
Apparently, it's to
Hold
get,
on.
I don't
make
fucking
that
know,
happen.
man. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I got nothing on that one, but we're gonna find out right fucking now.
Yeah, it's a feature
Google,
you can get on a Cybertruck.
Bring me a farting panda.
We're gonna catch 5,000 bass free. I mean, yeah, let's just jump in the window.
Wade mode is an off-road vehicle feature most notably available on the Tesla Cybertruck, designed to allow the car to safely drive through shallow bodies of water like creeks, rivers, or flooded roads.
So maybe don't drive it into a lake.
When activated, Wade mode prepares the vehicle for water crossings by doing the following. It increases maximum ride height of the vehicle, air suspension to maximum height. Battery pressurization. It pressurizes the battery pack, often referred to as a scuba pack, to prevent water from getting inside and causing damage. While the feature makes the vehicle capable of handling minor flooding or stream crossing, it is frequently misunderstood. 32-inch depth limit.
That seemed like a little deeper.
Yeah, he went a little deeper, and he did that when he saw it. Fuck around and find out.
This is one of those things where he's like, hey, I got this cool mode. It says here I can push this button and it turns on this cool mode, and didn't read the manual.
Yeah. He just saw it. Asked Google just like I did. Right. What's up, Jacob? Welcome in, brother. That is fucking wild, bro.
It's dumb, man. We don't have to get to the last thing if you don't want to do it, because it's a whole...
I mean, we've gotten this close. I can handle another 12 fucking minutes of this cunt's teeth in my face, bro.
All right.
I mean, chiclets. I mean, I'd hit it.
I know you would. Yep, she's back, ladies and gentlemen.
I wouldn't let the hate stop me.
Once again,
enough, your brain will begin to believe it's part of your body, and this has a...
She's bringing something to our attention that we probably should be paying attention
if you use...
I'm having some issues. Just
I can see that.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
your smartphone enough, your brain will begin to believe it's part of your body, and this has a number of really interesting implications for both cognitive science and development, and we'll talk about it. Us as humans have melded with technology. We are a communal species. We offload cognitive load onto other humans. This is why I don't know how to fix an engine, but I know how to do other things. We have taken all of mankind.
I know how to do other things, like call someone.
Mm-hmm.
My phone talents have actually probably the fact that I can have a chipper and upbeat voice on the phone gets way more shit done than being a bitch ever could. Like, when I call you and it's fucking 5 o'clock in the afternoon and I need to hire someone or do something, and you answer the phone and you're like, hello, welcome to such and such and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, hello, how are you doing today, sir? That is magnificent. Listen, brah, I'm having a little bit of a trouble over here. And I'm wondering, can you possibly help me with this? Because you got this whole business and all the tools and all those people. Right?
Yeah,
and suddenly they're 100%. Having a better day.
You catch more flies with a
gun,
honey rather than vinegar.
A gun wasn't an option. Damn.
I mean,
I always get that one wrong.
You could certainly get more flies, I guess, if you shot somebody and left them to rot.
And then shoot the flies.
I'm trying to figure out how you're going to get these flies shot, because they're very small and mobile.
They are. But I'm going to use birdshot.
You might get a couple of them, but I don't think you'll get all of them.
I will fuck them up, bro. You ever been hit with rock salt?
Yes.
That shit ain't no goddamn good, dude. It's weird. That shit injects into your fucking pores. You got little crystals coming out your ass for like days afterwards.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Finds knowledge, and we put it on the internet. Granted, a lot of people don't use it.
It's fine. It's fine. I was just going to make a joke about oversaturation with meth.
Oh. You know there's meth in the sewage water, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot. Like enough to actually affect things.
Brain will begin to believe it's part of your body, and this has a number of really interesting implications for both cognitive science and development, and we'll talk about it. Us as humans have melded with technology. We are a communal species. We offload cognitive load onto other humans. This is why I don't know how to fix an engine, but I know how to do other things. We have taken all of mankind's knowledge and we've put it on the internet. Granted, a lot of people don't use it for knowledge. A lot of people just look at cat videos and other things. When you hear somebody say that
name those other things, lady.
Of your body,
name them.
Yeah.
Because those other things begin with a P and end with orn.
I don't know why this guy has this package. All I know is he needs to deliver it, and she's doing freaking I can't get the fucking word Lamaze out of my head for some fucking reason. That's and awesome. She's doing disco dancing in the living room, practicing her striptease. That she doesn't have any money to pay for it. That's all I know.
Yeah. So, but nah, she's basically accusing us all of already having become the Neuralinked Borg. Our chips are in our pockets and not in our brains.
And Scotty Waddles has a point over here. You catch flies with poop, not honey.
It's an old saying, all right? It's an old granny saying from like the fucking 1500s or whatever.
Yeah.
Go pedal.
Apparently that was literal. The more that you use a tool, in this case chopsticks, they became an extension of someone's hands. This is proprioception. It's why you can still use a fork when it's completely dark, because you know where your hand is and that fork is operating as an extension of your hand. Now I will give you a funny counter example, because I had surgery on my foot, and from that point on I started tripping over my toe. My body did not know where my toe was. It did get better over time as my brain mapped the new layout. But yes, there are nerves involved as well as the mapping of your body. Now this research group looked at specifically smartphones. They wanted to know how the brain responds to a cell phone. They mapped people's brains when they had a cell phone in their hand in various orientations and then asked people, is that a left or right hand? Your brain does an interesting thing. If you're looking at a picture of something and you're trying to figure out the orientation, you will imagine turning your hand, whether you're conscious of it or not. Now, this was only true for heavy smartphone users. When they imagined turning their hand, it made no difference whether or not there was a cell phone in it. Meaning, having a phone was reading as an empty hand because it had become part of their cognitive layout.
Dude, she's right. She's right, because I'm turning my left fucking hand right now, and it's doing it. It's doing the curl into the position. I hate this so much.
Yeah, I hate me too.
It's like my right hand doesn't do it, but my left hand does, because my left hand's the one I hold the phone in.
Is it wrong that I'll wake up some mornings and go, meteorite didn't hit?
No, not at all. I wake up most mornings that way.
I was kind of hoping it happened while I was asleep and I'd never know nothing about it. Because if I wake up from that one, I'm just saying, my guidance counselor didn't tell me that a warlord was on the list, but now I know.
Scotty Wild says that could be from Trick. I mean, it could be, except I don't use my left hand for that. It's got to hold the phone. Often. Damn it.
This may incidentally also be why people get so uncomfortable when they switch phones and it's a little bit different. I know I do, but it does alleviate over time, meaning we can... Now, this does have some pretty interesting implications. If you've ever gotten a new...
The hell
just me, or was that a weird cut?
That was a very weird cut.
Comfortable when they switch phones and it's a little bit different. I know I do, but it does alleviate over time, meaning we can... Now, this does have some pretty interesting...
Yeah, that feels like she fucking missed something that she was trying to edit there.
Check out the pause face.
Like there's a little bit of a hiccup there where you can clearly see she wasn't happy with the take.
Yeah, you can see it on her face.
If you've ever gotten a new phone and it was a different size or shape than your old one and it felt uncomfortable, it may have been that you've lost an extension of yourself and now have to map a new one in order to get used to it. The same thing goes for cars. When you are inside one, you are operating an extension of yourself. This also has some interesting implications for what it means to take away a tool. You were given a calculator and now you don't know how to do arithmetic. I do not remember long division, nor do I want to. When you're giving somebody a tool,
But you know what it is, and you know how it's done. So while you may not be a mathematician, you can sit down with a pencil and a piece of paper and do long division, right? Right?
Yeah. Hey, Greg Sanich, it's my show. It's mine.
It's his show. I just ride along for fun.
Mm-hmm. It's not as gay as he made it sound, though, most of the time.
What's called all the commies, Mickey?
extending their cognition, and our brains are highly plastic. We are meant to be able to live in any world that we are born into. And that means that we can learn to use technology, but it also means we learn to rely on technology. Even if we are assuming that that is true, and I would strongly disagree, we also have to understand that skills are not learned in isolation. Your ability to reason through mathematics or your ability to read literature and understand it impact other areas of your life. Your problem-solving skills for one area are going to be very necessary for another. That is how we develop an intuitive understanding of how the world works, and if we lack that understanding, we will lack in other areas. One very interesting area of this kind of research is that it is not isolated to human beings. You can give rats or mice brain-computer interfaces, and they can learn to use the computer in a virtual world.
This ties back to remember a few months ago when we were talking about how they were giving mice guns in Doom.
Nope. None of this. None of it. Nope.
They put these tiny little like fucking VR goggles on them, right? And you were the guy who brought up like, who the fuck makes tiny VR goggles?
Yeah, no, I was just thinking. So like, how did they find
like how is this a niche in the market?
Like who was sitting around there, somewhere in some upper echelon of some college or university or government, someone read the proposal. We're gonna teach mice to play Doom. We need little mice goggles, little VR goggles for the mice to wear.
It's better than the transgender mice. Marginally. I mean, it might be the same mice. They are teaching them to kill.
I wonder if they're giving the mice SSRIs.
They most likely, yeah.
Navigate a virtual maze. They have mammal brains too, and they are capable of adapting to entirely new environments, creating an extension of their cognition into a virtual world.
All right, so this goes directly to my altered intelligence, right? Not artificial, but alternative intelligence. So you create an AI, and I brought this up tons of times, and I'm going over it again, so let's get in. You create an AI. You implant that AI interface into an embryo previous to birth. This AI exists for its entire existence of the organic component interacting with the individual. And then the organic component dies, leaving the AI still in the cloud up there doing things. And I see no reason why it wouldn't believe itself to be this individual. It has been the computer equivalent for the individual's entire life. And I don't believe that would be artificial intelligence. I believe that would be alternate intelligence.
I think alternate is probably a good word for it, because it may believe that it's the individual, but that doesn't mean that it is the individual.
Right, and we always end up going back to the hotel in what's the name of that movie?
Oh yeah, Altered Carbon. You're talking about
Altered Carbon, right?
The Poe figure.
The Poe figure, and that's a similar concept. But they're full AIs, but he
they're
takes
aware
on,
that they're AIs, though.
Right.
They're fully aware that they're artificial intelligence. I think you're more talking about, like, did you ever watch the old RoboCop TV series? Because there's a chick in it who was like a secretary at OCP or whatever. She ends up getting murdered, and her consciousness gets uploaded into a machine that's supposed to basically control all of things in New Delta City or whatever. But they were really just counting on like the actual processing power of the actual meaty brain, right? They didn't count on like it retaining any remembrance or semblance of its former self. So she becomes a kind of digital entity. But is it really her, or is it just the memories of a dead brain?
It's also like the Max Headroom question, and in Max Headroom's origin story, he was killed in a parking garage, and the last thing he saw was a sign that said Max Headroom for trucks that were entering, and however many feet it is, and that's where he got his name. And the alternative intelligent concept is so much a part of the idea of computer immortality through simulation. I don't think I don't think it is extricable from the concept. It is the alternative human hybridized computer process. You will not live forever, but a thing that thinks it is you will. That is the immortality they have set before themselves.
Yeah, this will be dead though.
The phenomenon we're seeing may just be part of the capacity of a mammal brain. Granted, we haven't really demonstrated it in non-mammals. Our neurons make connections, and then they get reinforced, and then they grow around those connections. When you think about it, it's a perfect system. We don't know if you're going to lose a limb. We don't know what kind of world you're going to be born into, what kind of food is going to be available, or what problems you're going to have to solve. But your brain can adjust. I do have the question, just because of epigenetics. If you took the DNA from somebody who was born 50,000 years ago and cloned them into today's society, how well would they adjust to the technology that we have? We know that fearful memories can be...
Right? I was thinking the same thing. That and hell, the Iceman didn't do too bad.
Well, here's the thing. If it's a clone, right, and it's not necessarily going to carry the memories. We don't know for a fact that it will carry the memories from its previous whatever. But even if it did, right, it's grown and raised and indoctrinated in this era, so it will be familiar with this era and the technology in it.
Right.
It won't be like shocked that. Now, I think what she's saying is like if we could transport one magically with only Stone Age knowledge into this time period, yeah, it'd probably fuck with his head quite a bit. There'd be a huge amount of culture shock there.
Well, no, I think she was more curious on the endocrine side of things. We have no idea what type of how deeply rooted our endocrinology is in our fight and flight responses, right? And how rooted that is in our genetics versus our experiences.
Well, you're touching on ancestral memory, which did
not so much. I'm touching on biochemical sensitivities built into a self-feedback system that responds to threats. They probably have a panic disorder of some sort, would be my guess.
Oh yeah, maybe. But I think there'd be enough that was unfamiliar.
But it could only operate a Nokia 3310. You, sir, get a participation trophy for that one.
Yeah. So there's no ghost in the shell, but more a shell of a ghost. I think that's a
that is. I like that.
Yeah,
I like that. It's a ghost that thinks it's you. It believes it. It would, right? Because as far as it's concerned, it is you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It would believe it is me. And perhaps I believe that some part of me continues existing past my death because it exists.
Well, again, going back to Altered Carbon, not even so much Altered Carbon. In the third book, Woken Furies, there's a whole commune that exists basically as a community in a virtual world, in a computer, right? All of their bodies are dead.
Yeah. They've completely shed their bodies. They no longer occupy. It's a simulated heaven for a simulated congregation. which is wild.
Inherited for as many as 7 generations. Yes, you could be afraid of the color red or the smell of lavender because something bad happened with a great-great-grandparent. I do wonder how much of our capacity to use the tools in front of us is inherited, and whether or not that's affected by how rapidly technology is changing. Did this make you want to put down your smartphone or make you want to learn a new skill? Because for me, the answer is yes.
I
think that's a fair answer, right? Because on the one hand, yeah, I could learn and do new stuff, which I'm not necessarily against. On the other hand, I'm starting to think the thing in my hand is fucking evil. Like truly, epically, end of the world, wants me to suffer evil.
I think that the thing in your hand is just like a firearm or a hammer or a piece of parchment or a pen, that the intent of the individual with it is what determines the value of its use.
And I suppose it's certainly a possibility.
So I mean, like, if you or I got a hold to a bunch of disease-ridden ticks, we wouldn't distribute them across the East Coast. But there are some people out there who might.
Yeah. What's this you got backstage? I don't remember.
Oh no, it's nothing.
Something else?
We've done
Okay.
everything.
Yeah. Oh, good. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was a show.
Yeah, we did it. We did the thing. What's up, Portrait Farmer? Welcome in, Smoking Space, man. Good to see you.
I'm stealing a page out of Sasquatch's books. You know what we did? We did a show.
There you go. I'm proud of you. You know what you didn't do though? You didn't grift. Grift right now. Do it.
I haven't even heard of grift too.
Girl, you can grift to me, bro. I'm right here. Check
Oh
it out.
yeah. Give him money. Give him money now. Otherwise, he's gonna have to get DSP on your asses. It's gonna be pathetic. It's gonna be kind of gross. It's gonna be a little grubby. It's gonna make you want to scrub the insides of your skin. So if you want to avoid all of that nasty unpleasantness, send money to the Caucasian Sasquatch and send it to him now.
Right now.
How was that?
I fully accept it. Decide it's okay to phone it in on your show. Now do the thing. The part where we do the thing.
Yeah, we're doing a thing. Thank you all for the things. Don't forget, pinned at the bottom of the chat on YouTube and at the top of the chat on Rumble, there's a gift send go link for a good friend, gal, and her brother. They are last I checked at 4,200. The goal is 6K. We're not that far off. Please share it out if you can't, donate, and if you can, please do. And I will stop talking about it once you guys have gotten that shit filled up. I donate to it when I can myself. So, that's it. That's all we got. Happy birthday, Shadu. Shout out to him. Happy birthday to him. And Sasquatch, what do you got coming up? Where can people find you?
Hiding outside your window, peeking at you.
It's weird.
Oh, you mean on YouTube? Right.
I mean,
so tomorrow I have the Blast Radius with Captain Curmudgeon. That's at 8 p.m. Eastern, where we go over whatever current events happen to strike our fancy. We talk about movies and books and other stupid stuff. It's like this, but different. Tuesday, the Naughty Corner with Ajot. I have no idea what she's going to make me do this week, but she makes me do things, and we do things live, and that happens at 8 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays. I generally try to do a live stream Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, but I have been lazy and busy and doing other crappy things for like the past 6 or 8 weeks. And then you can find me on the Powdered Dusty most nights when he goes live, at least up until midnight Eastern, which is when I generally just tell everybody to fuck off and go to bed.
Indeed. Can't stay. Oh, fuck. I can't remember what the fucking song lyric was. Whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm a little out of it too, folks. I think I might be coming down with something, but
yeah,
it's going around.
Life.
Yeah, I didn't get bit by any of those ticks. I think I just
you're gonna live.
Probably. In fact, you know what? In honor of the Texas Lone Star tick, I think I'm gonna march my happy ass across the street and have a goddamn T-bone right after this.
Oh God, that sounds so good.
Yeah,
baked potato with absolutely everything on it.
You know what's fun is I can get a T-bone with a side of alligator. Oh yeah. Good stuff.
Dude,
All in one
shut
place.
your
We
mouth.
have this fantastic restaurant here that caters to some exotic tastes. Right? They got they've got your usuals on there, right? We got the Angus beef, we got the really really good fucking smoked ham. We got we got bison, right, which is locally grown and slaughtered. So it's a thing here where I live. It's also fucking way better tasting than beef is. Just putting that out there. But it also, you can get kangaroo, camel, wild boar, python, alligator, and occasionally something off the menu that's maybe not totally legal, like cougar.
We need to get us a couple of 100 acres together. And I've got a farm design that'll blow your fucking mind. The only thing it requires is water, and everything else is produced by the farm, and it just becomes a better place every year.
Yeah.
It ends with alligators. Alligators
I'm making you hungry, dude. I'm making me hungry.
All right, let's go get something to eat, bro. I got something to show you backstage. It'll take like 10 minutes, and then we're out of this bitch.
All right, cool. So as far as I'm concerned, if and when she goes live, you can find me over helping out on Exiled Lioness 2. It doesn't look like she has anything set up yet, but you never know. That may change between now and the end of the evening. If, however, she does not go live, we will be a little earlier tonight. I will be back later on with some more Crimson Desert. We're going to just fuck around on that for a while and do some side quests and shit. Should be a good time for me. Anyway, next week, I forgot to announce this the last time. Next week is coming up on the end of the month, so we will be doing a Whispering in the Dark sometime, probably Tuesday or Wednesday, most likely Wednesday. We'll see how it works out. Otherwise, we've got a quiz night next Friday on Abyssal Musings right here on Samuel the Infamous. We do have a couple of confirmed guests. I got a couple of people I'm still haven't heard back from yet, but whether or not they want to show up, like Caucasian Sasquatch.
I don't know, dude. Like, what are we doing?
No, I'm just being.
Hi, Izzy. Welcome in. Bye.
So, but we do have Horror Amarada and Sheep City coming on that night, confirmed, and so that should be a good fucking time. Otherwise, you can find me on Beelzebub on the channel Beelzehub, which belongs to my friend Devil Made Me Do It, and right back here next week for more Screaming into the Void. Thank you all for coming. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for listening to us, like, just kind of fucking stream of consciousness our way through a bunch of fucking topics, because that's what we do here.
And remember, avoid women who do this.
Right. It could be worse. You could have the crab hands. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see y'all real soon. Bye.